Technology. But yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to Bridge the Gap. This is episode 170. That's a lot of episodes. We have joining us today Richeous and Mr. FlipStar. My name is Holden Stephan Roy, and as y'all know, this is the show where we talk to interesting people such as yourselves over here, and we learn about your life stories and the journeys, and we collect some knowledge nuggets, and we go ahead and just kind of connect everybody as much as we can through your stories. Mr. FlipStar has already done the whole show with us one time, so we got like his life story. I think it was a good 2-hour episode where we learned a lot about him, how he became a dad, how he overcame the challenges of life to become the Mr. FlipStar that he is today. These fine fellows just tore the stage up at my event. Like, they came through, tore it up. People was geeking on their performances for real. But that leaves us all with the question, who is Richeous? Right? Because people don't necessarily know the Richeous story. So yes, it's both men's here today, but we're going to start this off with our normal classic opening question. And before we get into that, and it's a bit of a story, we need to know where you start your life, Richeous. Like, where's the inception point of a Richeous?
Oh, wow. The inception of Richeous. Gee. That was like what? That was like 10 years ago, bro.
A little more. No, I meant like the human, like when you were
born. The inception of Richeous.
Not maybe the Richeous, the character, but Richeous,
where it was
the human
born.
being.
Where it was born. Okay,
behind
okay.
Richeous.
Okay, that one is easier to answer, actually.
That's amazing.
I was born in Barbados, dude.
Say word.
Yeah,
that's going to make this opening question more fun. All right, so it's kind of a bit of a story. It starts with Bonnie, my girl. She's washing dishes one time, and she's playing that Black Eyed Peas song. The I got a feeling, ooh. She's vibing, she's dancing, she's doing her thing, and I have this whole thought. I'm like, when in the fuck did this song become chorus music? Because if you think about this song, you run it back to like 2010-ish and all that times. It's the middle of the night party banger. Everybody's celebrating. Everybody's having a good time. You run this song up to today, and now it's some shit you put on when you're doing some chores, you working out, you're trying to bring your brain from the boring activity of now to the fun times of yesteryear. It made me think about music on this journey, right? Like, the song doesn't change at all, but the people and our relationships with the song evolve over time. It got me thinking about the 21-year-olds running around getting sturdy and all that drill stuff, and how they don't even know they're going to get sturdy to the dishes one day when they old and they kind of more pushing our age group. And it got me thinking about how most of these interviews you watch start where the person's like 10, 11 years old. They just get into hip hop. They start writing their first song, or it's the inception of Richeous, the character, rather than the human. And it just seems like these are all these starting points, almost as if nobody ever had a childhood or nothing like that. But for me, music goes all the way back to childhood. Like, the second you were born in a hospital, there was probably a song playing up in that room. A little baby Richeous was absorbing it. There's all kinds of sounds happening. Like, I can remember being like 5 years old in Cool St. Luke, not even far from here. There was a bunch of gray boxes in the living room, the amp, the preamp, the tape deck, the fucking radio. And my dad would be busting his Led Zeppelin tapes and things of that nature during the day. At nighttime, it was the club music on Mix 96 and all those kinds of vibes. My mom's like discos and musicals and Q92 love songs, and it's a whole different era. All that was spinning around me, but I had no control over any of the music, but it influences me to this very day. So I was hoping, Richeous, you could bring us back to the youngest Richeous you could remember being, and tell us what it sounded like to be you before you had control over the music in your life. I remember that question.
Oh, that's proper, bro. That's proper. Okay. As long as I can remember, my mom would drag me to karaoke, actually.
Say word.
She would drag me because here's the thing.
This is in Barbados.
In Barbados, right? Here's the thing, right? My mom and my dad didn't live together, but I swear they were in love all this time, okay? Like, she was always talking about him and encouraging me to do things to be like him. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm waiting for him to tell me to do it. But at the same time, he's the musician, okay? Like, you go to his house, he has amps all over the fucking place, guitars hanging from the roof to the corners of the house, a ton of mics, you name it. All right. But she just loved, my mom just loved singing. I grew up with my mom. Right. So how old was I? Man, like I remember like being like 6 years old, and my mom wanted to party. My mom wanted to go out, and she brought me on the back of her scooter, dude.
That's the kind of stuff we talk about.
And she did she used to do karaoke, and one time she dragged me on stage to do karaoke with her. I don't even remember what the song was, but I believe that, yeah, that's like 6 years old. That's like my youngest inception point of when I was brought into music, and like I was performing, but I mean I had no control over it, right? And so
That's
that's one
crazy.
point.
So your mom, what kind of music were y'all listening to out there? Like, what's the music of Barbados at that time?
Okay. It's calypso and soca. It's the main music, right? But my mom would listen to a lot of disco. She'd listen to what do you call this? Alanis Morissette.
Say word. Yo, Alanis, a Canadian treasure.
Right,
Canadian
right.
treasure.
So my mom was, well, yeah, she was. So my mom always had, like, she doesn't discriminate. She likes good music. She doesn't
Right.
care what genre, right? But in Barbados, typically you hear a lot of, soca music. You know what I mean, right? Reggae too. But it's like the guys that, like, the Rasta men. They're the ones who like bumping reggae. Like later on, when they got like a young teenager, that's when you start to hear a lot more reggae. But that's like, reggae's more Jamaica, clearly,
Right.
Less soca.
So Barbados is more soca, upbeat.
Exactly.
Y'all are in hella good shape to soca. Like, it's impossible to like bump soca and not move.
Bro, look at the geographical location, Doug. Okay, like, firstly, the hurricane season passes there every year. Like, we don't know what hurricane season even is. Okay, 365 days of summer, and it's only cold when you take a shower and you don't have hot water. So I mean,
That's a different ass reality.
it's a whole different kind of vibe, bro.
So do you have like the internet and shit growing up? Like, is it like, are you connected like that?
No, bro, I had a very unique experience, actually. Like, I mean, like, I grew up. Okay. It's like this, right? I experienced living without electricity and running water. I experienced having to actually go to get water to use. I experienced heating natural, like, steel, cast iron, like, iron on the stove to press my clothes. like literally, like, and these things were existing like back in when they were like slave plantations, right? And my mom had a couple that she had two that she inherited from some old folks that she took care of. And like the Barbados Museum just kept contacting her for them, and she's like, no, you're not getting them, okay? it's like sentimental, you know what I mean? So yeah, I had that experience.
Holy shit. I could say I've talked to a lot of people. I don't know that many people that could be like, yo, I had to go and get my own water and shit. Like,
Yeah.
like it's like that.
They were like government. They were like government. From like age 4 to age 6. They're like these government pipes. We call them stand pipes. I don't know why, because they're on a stand. I don't know. Right.
You know, sometimes that's how the names be.
There you go. Right. So they're essential locations. They're like water fountains, but they're like actual taps. Right. And that's where we would collect water and bring it back. It's not like you got, like, you're in Africa, you gotta go to the river, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I got to experience that, and a lot of people actually did not get to have that experience that are my age, actually.
Like you're saying, even the people in Barbados.
I mean, because that's like a little before my time. It's a little before my time, like that experience, right? My mom, she took care of some older folks, and they allowed us to live on their like little mini estate until like I became like a teenager, and then we moved to someplace else. So that by in part was kind of like the reason for the whole experience. And my mother, she's like, if I grew up without it, why do I need to pay for it? Why do I need to pay for this if I grew up without that and I'm good? That's her mentality, right?
So she was not a fan of the internet at first because she did not grow up with that.
Bro, she wasn't even a fan of house phones, bro.
That's a level like.
She's like, I don't want no one. It's just like, I don't want nobody bothering me.
House phones were bothersome, but that's still like inconceivable to me growing up in Montreal to live without at least a house phone. Mm-hmm. Like I think something like, how did you get a job? Like you used to put your phone number on that shit and wait for calls.
No, I hear you, but like she was my mom. She was a professional athlete, right? And she was also a post lady, so everyone in the entire island knew her. So if you know her, you know her, so you know where to find her and how to find her, right? Right? So it's like this woman is so popular that I kind of understand now that I got older why she didn't want any, like, she want all that company. Like, I have two very popular parents from Barbados. One, my dad was on the hotel circuit all his life playing music. And then my mom, she ran international cross country.
So Mans is coming from like some star-studded parents.
Something like that. Yeah. Honestly, as long as I can remember. Yeah. I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but
nah, that's fair enough. Like we can go through it all in more detail in a time when like Flip's not here. But like, holy shit, that is quite the start to a story for like somebody that ends up in Montreal. Weirdly, for somebody I meet in Toronto for the first time who lives like not even far from
I met you at Theo, bro.
But that's crazy. So what brings you to Canada? Like when do you come over here?
Okay, I got a family in Toronto, but I came over here actually in my first marriage. So I actually came over here and married here and had children here.
So like you came over here as like a full-grown adult.
I was like 20, like 19.
Fair. Well, a young adult.
Yeah. And like if for those who don't know, okay, Barbados is a very, very tiny country. So anyone that has incredibly big like ambitions usually moves out of the country. Because like, for example, Rihanna, the right? She's from Barbados, and like the island itself is like it can fit in a park in fucking Montreal, Canada, bro. It's like 366 square miles, bro.
Right.
So it's like
not a big place.
Yeah.
So like you could be the star there, but that doesn't really equate to beyond Barbados much.
Yeah. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's very interesting because the currency is really strong. It's like the Canadian is like it's like little less or a little more than 2 to 1.
Oh, that's crazy.
Canadian. That's crazy, right?
Yeah. Did you start making music in Barbados, or is that something that came?
Yeah, I started making music in Barbados actually.
What brought that around?
Okay, let me try to like make this in point form. Okay, at 8, my mom sent me to do piano lessons because I was not interested in music. I was actually interested in athletics and drawing. All right, and then because of that, she sent me to go to choirs. She like encouraged me to join my school choir. And my school had a pretty awesome band, to be honest. So like at lunchtime, this is like okay. That was elementary, the piano lessons. Beginning of high school, the choir, right? And the school band. And they would cover songs at lunchtime. So they would literally have a concert in the band room next to the caf. And we'd be jamming and eating our lunch every lunchtime. So then that's made me gravitate more to the music. And then because I was interested in poetry, I like writing. I just like how rhymes felt when you wrote them. Why not, right? So I did it a lot, and someone encouraged me to enter a talent show called NIFCA in Barbados. So it's like the National Cultural Foundation, something like, right?
Fair enough.
Right. And it's through that I, from my actual art teacher, I actually learned how to do spoken word. So it's like, if you like combine all of these things with the exception of the little story that I forgot to mention of me actually recording on the tape. Like the first track I ever recorded was like N.A.R.S. But what's that track? You don't hate me now. Yeah, hate me now, right? Yeah. But I won't stop now. So I like accidentally figured out how to record on a tape. That's like somewhere in the historic timeline there. But all these things combined, after I did the spoken word, with the musical influence, like I was like kind of in the urban scene because I was doing hip hop dancing in my school and so on and so forth. For the first time, how old was I? I was like 15. I heard Bajan rappers, and I'm like, these niggas could rap. I was like, wait. This happens? Like, and I couldn't hear any accent, bro. I couldn't hear any Bajan accent. I was like, huh? Big S and T? What the fuck is this? Right? So I'm like, oh fuck. If they could do it, why not me?
Fair.
The moment I decided to do that, I met rappers at my school.
It'd be like that everywhere.
There were a group called the Squadron, and that's when I started officially writing bars.
So then you were pushing music over there. You end up coming. Did you have a lot of success in Barbados, or was it more of like a passion project?
It was more of a passion project. Like I only started taking my music more, like being more business oriented when I moved to Canada.
Fair.
And it still took a couple of years too, because I still had to understand the landscape, you know.
So that's a whole wild journey, and I feel like we haven't heard from Flip at all. My bad. This is a whole different format for me, but I would love to know from Flip.
He doesn't work here?
No. I want to know from Flip how this guy appeared in your life, right?
Oh, that's a neat story, bro.
All right, so I would say 2013, if my mind serves me right. I believe 2013, right? So there was it was 2013.
You sure?
Yeah, I remember. I remember.
This guy's memory is...
Yeah, no, I trust me, I remember.
And then again, I was smoking a lot of weed back then.
So it was 2013, and back then, although I was writing rhymes, I had not yet commenced my public performances in terms of music, right?
Right.
So for now, I was only focusing on spoken word and poetry.
Right.
Because again, as you well know, you and I have discussed this before. This is
link in description, by the way.
my beginnings as far as art is concerned started with poetry, right? So I went to this. I believe it was this open mic poetry joint in Montreal. I can't remember where for the life of me. But it wasn't just poetry. There were some poets and there were some actual music performers.
Mm.
And I actually went there by myself. I rolled dolo and I go there and I see this dude, but again, I don't know who he is from a can of paint. I never heard of him. Actually, a lot of the artists that were there I had never actually met or seen before.
Right.
But he performed a song called Me, Myself, and I, right? Is that
was the track?
That was the song.
I was trying to remember.
He performed that song, and I promise you, you know when you meet, like when you see someone for the first time and just off of hearing what they do, you're like, yeah, he got it. Right. I instantaneously felt that with him. Just while I said, damn, I remember after the show, I think I can't remember if I performed my poem before your performance or after. Either way, that's neither here nor there. Fact of the matter is, I made sure to wait until the show was finished. I had to go talk to him. I had to introduce my. Actually, no, I performed before you because I remember because you commented on my performance as well. Yes, I recall. But I stepped to you and I said, yo, that like what you did, that was like you caught my ear. You caught my ear for real. So at that point in time, he and we exchanged information, right?
Yeah, I gotta remember, this is like before it was like, yo, what's your Insta days? This is like, like it was harder to meet people. It wasn't the same.
This is strictly phone numbers / emails. That's it, right? So at that point, again, he and I exchanged information, and then that's when I said, okay, you know what? I guess like it was sort of like a transitional period for me in terms of, I feel like now I should be really starting to get into, recording music on a more, I guess, consistent / serious basis. So that's what I was doing. And then it was one of my, that, and not only that, I remember because this was the time where I was like, although I still am to this day, but back then I was really, really knee deep into J. Cole, like heavy, right? And Cole, he had done a freestyle on the song "Stay," and mind you, at that point in time, I didn't even know that "Stay," the instrumental of the song, was actually a N.A.R.S. joint. And I'm a big N.A.R.S. fan, so that's shame on me. But
it happens,
right?
We can't know it all,
right? But I love the song. I love the song "Stay." I really love what J. Cole did to it. And then obviously, because again, especially at that point in time, like that's when like that was a moment. It was a period for me to really start to sharpen my my pen and how I rhyme. And then I had an idea for a song, and I said I would love to get him to come on the song. So I remember I introduced the song, like the concept, the instrumental, and he loved like the jazzy sounds. Like in case if you wanted to know what the song, what the instrumental sounds like, just YouTube Nas "Stay." Like I think it's a No ID produced beat, if my mind. Anyways, so I presented the concept to Richeous about us doing this joint together, and then I started writing. I started writing, and he would send me I think it was via email that you would send me what you had written down and so on and so forth, and then we went to MakeWay. And then
shout out MakeWay
for sure. And then I went to MakeWay to record it.
Was it MakeWay yet?
Yeah, it was It was
so
yet? It was still MakeWay. It was still Hugo, but at that point in time, they didn't have like their own actual studio.
Was this like Brandon's basement?
Nah, this was actually across the street from the Bell Center.
Yes. Exactly. Okay, I was
just building.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's where
they
was
tore that building down.
DRX kit closed down, and then MakeWay kind of grabbed all their shit at one point.
Yeah, I remember that. See, exactly. So, and mind you, that was. So we recorded in May of 2013, and the reason why I know the month is because I was browsing through some of my, I guess, videos and whatnot, and I have footage of he and I in the studio. And him recording. I have,
studio footage.
Studio footage of you recording. Actually, no, it was like he had just stepped out of the booth, so it was you and I outside of the booth, and I was filming you while you were singing / rapping along to your verse. I have footage of that. It was May 2013, so we're about to touch on 10 years, like a full decade, right?
That's incredible. I didn't even know y'all went back that far like that. Like you might have brought up his name on your interview, but that didn't mean anything to me back then.
Well, no, for sure. But see, so that's what it was, right? So we recorded the song, and I remember like we performed the song at a few events. I remember like the Haram Key they had the shit. We performed the song there and whatnot. So we performed the song, and not only that, we recorded us rapping the verse in my car on Dollard in LaSalle, and he actually posted it to YouTube. It's on there. It's still on YouTube.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like this old footage. Like this is footage from like a decade ago, right? So that's crazy. That's crazy when you think about it. But
it really is. Time passes.
Yeah. So in terms, go ahead.
I just got to give you both flowers then, right? Because not everyone makes it 10 years in this shit, and people don't stay friends 10 years in this shit, let alone having like solo being in it. That's a big, like, you guys deserve flowers for building and maintaining a relationship that has you performing joints all this time later.
But mind you, that you would like there were times where we sort of lost touch for a year or two.
I need to give you props for this, bro. No, no, wait, no. Props to Flip, okay? Because while I was busy going through my shit in my own life, okay, every couple of months, Flip would call me and he would say, "Yo, dude, I got this track. I need you on it. Dude, I got this track. I need you on it." At this point, dude, I got this track. I need you on it. Is a sample for a track, dude, that I need you on. Okay,
that's amazing.
Right? Like, big up to Flip because he is the one who really kept me. He just kept me stable. Like, he kept checking in on me. I am the worst for friggin' checking in. I would be there. I would show up. I would be there early and finish late. But to ask me to check in, you gotta like check the map, figure out which part of the space or whatever. In any case,
I totally relate to what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
We all have different personalities. Some of us is more vigilant in that regards, and some of us, we get lost in the world of our minds and then forget to check in. And sometimes the timing of that could be annoying, especially when things are on the line. But at the end of the day, when you got good people around you, that's how you build up that team that lets you kind of progress past the obstacles that come from those kinds of that way of being.
For sure. Because I would say like FlipStar is one of the most dedicated, consistent rappers that I have ever met, if not the most dedicated, consistent rapper that I know. Okay, because you told that story, bro, and I remember, bro, like we were by the bar, no homo, right? By the bar, right? You approached me by the bar, right? But still, I remember you're jogging my memory, and like I actually felt good, like someone wanted me on a track, because I don't remember being asked to be on a track, and it was with Urban Logics and SPLC, Sovereign Prerogative Live Creations, and they were doing the Mike and Dim Lights open mic, the Hiram Key Project, and Big Bang Montreal.
So that's the one I know the most of that. I went to the Scalier quite a lot back then.
Exactly, right? So like they're the ones who like first give me a stage. So shout out to SPLC.
Yo, they're the first people that taught me how slow the music industry works. Just on like a side thing. So one time I was doing hip hop karaoke in like 2013. Yo, that shit was lit. That shit used to pack Belmont. That's where you and I met. But it was like still way later on. Like I did meet Flip at hip hop karaoke, but that was still like later on. Like the early days, bro. We're saying that these college kids would flood Belmont because there used to be these $20 rum and coke pitchers. So you would never sell your event. You would just be like $20 rum and coke pitchers. Where are you getting drunk for cheaper, bro? And that sold all your tickets back in the day. So that place would be fucking packed. We're talking the same Belmont. And then they approached me one time in front and said, one day we're going to book you. It was Logics and Odd Man Black.
Shout out to both of them.
A year and a half later, I'm not playing. It was 18 months later. I get this email, come up to Big Bang Montreal, da-da-da-da-da-da. And they're like, told you it'd follow up. And I had to like really have that perspective in life, because the first time that happened, you're like, whatever, write some shit off, some guys approach you. But no, they did. 18 months later, and then they invited me to be their like special guest guy twice. So shout out to them. Mark the Magnanimous too. We got to mention his name because he held that shit down. Yes. And shout out him because he be active on Twitch, and he's one of those people that actually pulls up to this shit. Like, not a lot of people really be pulling up to my live streams to watch what's happening here. Shit. But DJ Magnanimous regularly tunes in, and he's been supportive of the scene for literally as long as I know him.
Yeah, shout out to Mark for real. He's been... I see now, yo. You taking me back in time. I remember going to the shows and handing him my USB key for him to, you know what I mean? Like, I just, yo, this one, this joint. I remember that. Damn, that's, wow.
Yeah, it's a great time. Big Bang Montreal is one of them things where I think a lot of us today did get to practice, and it was such a unique experience because you never performed to an audience that really gave a fuck about you.
Right.
It was always like a room full of people. Half the bar just couldn't even see the stage. You could hear them the whole time.
I remember.
It was an excellent training ground compared to some of the nicer conditions rappers get today.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure.
That's wild. So y'all linked up like all the way back then.
So we did our first song again 2013, Stay. And then in 2014 I was working on the very first project that I put out, right? It was a double disc thing back then. It was still CDs. It was Best Kept Secret was the first one. So essentially it was me rapping over like industry beats, right? N.A.R.S, Mobb Deep, Big, Jay-Z, so on and so forth. And then the second one was all Montreal producers. But for the first one, I was rapping on Tupac, Pain. And I said, I need you on it. And he came through. I remember he came through on it. So, and you know what's crazy? Now that I think of, for every project that I dropped, so I dropped in 2015, I dropped in 2018, and then I dropped in 2021. Every project he's been on it. So he was on Best Kept Secret, the song Pain. Then for my second project, which was called Follow Up in 2018, he was on 2-in-1 Special. Essentially was a song about paying homage and honoring pregnant women.
Right.
And then in 2021, on my the Heart of Storytelling, he was on the outro song of my album, which was called Roots of My Fruits, which was dedication to my parents.
Wow, that one.
Yeah.
I could say I've definitely heard those.
Yeah, see? And mind you, see? And that's why like I'm a firm believer that there's no such thing as coincidences. Like happenstance to me doesn't happen. I like it's not a real thing. I think that everything is preordained, right? So everything to me, like the universe has a way of just lining things, right? Because mind you, for the last joint for Roots of My Fruits, it wasn't even supposed to be him. It was supposed to be whatchamacallit, my sister-in-law, Honey Bee. She was supposed to jump on it. But she couldn't jump. Like it was too last minute and so on and so forth, and she couldn't make it and whatnot. And then for some reason, I just like, I don't know, you crossed my mind. I said, yo, let me hit him up. And then I told him, yo, I have a studio session in a few days and so on and so forth. This is the song. Yo, you want to come through? Not a single ounce of hesitation. He heard the song. He listened to it for a few days. He came to the studio. And then when he came to the studio, again, because I remember this was the final session. Like, I think the majority of the songs had already been mixed and mastered. This was the final session before submitting all of my WAV files to all of the you know, all of the streaming services, right? All the streaming platforms. And he came through in the clutch. Honestly, he came through in the fourth quarter. He dropped, and to me, because I could have dropped the song without an extra set of vocals on the song, but I felt like it needed just something else to uplift the hook, right? So
of course, especially like it's always better to have like what your vision for the song is and not have to compromise.
So to me, despite the fact that he was an option one for this song, like I said, I feel that the universe has a way of just setting and placing and aligning things for you, where I think these are just the obstacles that I guess I had to go through to sort of come back to, okay, this is where you guys link up. And then, my apologies. And then from there, actually, because now I'm getting ahead of myself. Because before I start talking about how Black Clouds came about,
I'm curious, like, actually, what's going on? Are you like, how's your solo career running over the course of the last 10 years? I mean, we can definitely set up another day to run the super in detail version. But for like the abbreviated, are you like releasing music this whole time? Are you putting out projects?
No, bro. I was I can say I was the most unprofessional rapper alive for a good couple of years. Like, I've written tons of songs. I've recorded, I could say, at least 2 album fulls, releasing tracks has been my downfall for the longest time, because I was either trying to be a perfectionist, making babies, going through shit.
Nah, but dead ass, nothing really derails an ongoing music career like the words "I'm pregnant" is what I've seen. And this isn't like my life experience. It's my life experience being the guy who doesn't have kids, who like hits people up for projects. Then I hear that the girl is pregnant, and I'm like, this is never gonna happen. I have to find a new partner.
Because what it is, and it's no disrespect to families whatsoever. It's just the fact that, okay, space in the entire universe has just opened up for another soul, okay? And you're responsible.
Facts. And that's what you should be doing.
Right.
But as a non-parent watching, sometimes it'd be like, another one bites the dust.
Yeah, it's a whole different reality. I can't really speak for. I can speak for both, because there was a time where I was single and running around. I mean,
yeah, you have fun.
Yeah.
But then, like, when the kids get older, it does change, as I understand it. Like, your daughter, if I'm not mistaken, is old enough now where it has, like, you're able to pursue the career properly without, missing all the shit.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. As they get older, things get easier, because then they begin to understand who and what their father is. So then, okay, well, this is the thing that makes him happy. I like when my dad's happy, so my dad is doing his happy thing. Fine, that's dad. And when they get that, that's when, okay, yeah. But still, I would say, as an artist, I spent just so much time, like, literally developing my own soul and getting my mind right. I can't be. I'm you know what? No, I'm very grateful for it. I'm really, really grateful for it. Right, because I was a very carefree guy, and I probably, if I can dare to say that I am or could have been talented enough, I would have been another person swooped up by the market and spat back out, and a whole story of this another what the words, but anyway, naive young man.
Yeah, taken
right?
in by the industry. You see what they do to people. You're young. They conflate your head with ideas of richness and let you emulate richness while creating the addiction to a lifestyle that isn't sustainable for what you can actually produce on your own. So you become indebted to a system that requires you to do what they say, or you can't keep living that life. Like, dead ass, I know for a fact that if I had popped at 22, I'd have a coke problem and I'd have a hooker problem. Like, what? Are you kidding me? I had such low self-esteem that if all of a sudden I had that kind of money in that kind of culture, like, what? How are you going to behave?
Exactly. So my challenges that help, like, that help strengthen me made me become the person I am today. I'm very, very happy for, because now I feel so stable as an artist. I don't care how the industry goes up, down, left, right. Like, I know for sure that everything that I touch with music is going to be my success. Regardless of what the industry and what the world or what anybody says with it, because now what I get from it, all right, is it's like my little internal Grammys that I get. All right, honestly, bro. All right, no, I feel I'm good. Like, okay, fine. I'm understanding the industry. I know how to set up a music business. I'm currently setting up a music business, and I am breaking bread with my partner in rhyme. Like, come on.
No, but I think what you're saying has a lot of merit, right? Like, because there's this idea that floats around where you have to be youthful to do this, but dead ass, not anymore. There are hundreds of us in our pocket of the scene, and probably most of us are over 30. Yeah. Like, let's be fucking real here. We are what I call old man blue dog, because there's a young man blue dog. And it's the same shit. I went to a few of their events. The only difference between old man rap and young man rap crowds is the young men are not afraid to dance. The young men dance like they on some islands calypso shit. And that doesn't matter who they is. Just all the young men are not afraid. Dead ass. I went to Blue Dog. I'm saying the age dropped young enough that they thought they could sell me drugs and shit. And I'm like, you guys do not understand. But like they got real young and all the men started dancing and shit. But otherwise it was the same shit. Room full of dudes, bunch of guys posturing, all the same shit. But it's just that we don't go to their party. They don't really go to our party. But what's different now, I think, is that via social media and I guess the low cost of music creation. Because let's be real, 8 years ago even, we couldn't be doing this in this room like this. The equipment was not within my budget. There's no way, honestly, I would have. I have 3 monitors. You can't really see it. Like we wouldn't have the nice ass setups we have at home, like that we the software, like all the shit that we can use. It just wasn't there yet. So the same thing with music. Like let's be real, you can record songs on your phone if you're like actually good at mixing. Like you can do a whole lot of shit where like TikTok alone with the reels and all of this exposure, like it just changed all the gatekeeping mechanisms. So now it's just find your market no matter who you are. And to that point, I think artists that have taken the time to like flush out who they are, like FlipStar has clearly done this. You can see in the meticulous nature of his albums, and based on what you're describing, you've gone through this journey of figuring out, I guess, what you stand for in a sense. That lets you become more of a beacon in this climate to attract an audience to you via the tools. So it really is like a blessing, whereas back in the day you almost you would have had to work a lot harder for this version of the grind. Like it would have been way harder.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll have to say, I think like you're touching on some good points about what people should like do before getting into artistry, because then it is about what you want to say and what your personal goals and missions are, rather than I'm trying to get bread. Because if that's the goal, fuck man, like it's hard to make money in music without completely chasing trends, I guess. Like, and even to that end, most people I know that chase trends are not making money on music, to be honest with you. They're maybe doing slightly better than me.
But see, and you're bringing on a very important point. The thing is, like you said, because the thing is, like cats, like I could tell, even yourself, Richeous, and myself, right? The way that we approach art, I think it's clear to say that none of us, that the number one objective is financial gain.
No,
it's not, because
it would be lovely though. But
no, 1,000%. Like you said, it is an absolute. It's a luxurious bonus. What I'm saying is, there's a certain level of integrity that we employ when creating said art, right? Especially like if I'm to speak on my personal behalf, one thing that I've always said to myself is that I'll never cheat the art. I will never cheat the art. Because, and not only that, like you see how, like, for instance, like sometimes I listen to some of these hip hop podcasts and they touch on, sort of like certain people, like you said, they'll follow a certain trend in order to, like cash.
It's like human life AI,
right? So to cash a quick check and so on and so forth. And some of them and a lot of them say, well, see, the problem is like the ones that are making trendy hip hop, right, are more at the forefront of what's being promoted commercially, right, as opposed to the actual lyrical rap, which is the basis of what rap was when it first began back in 1973, right? So what I'm saying is, but a lot of times they're saying, oh, see, that's the thing, take a look at the the backpack, the lyrical miracle raps, they're they're in the whatchamacallit, they're behind, whereas the ones that are making trendy music are in the front. But then they say, but if you take a look at longevity, talent will always win out regardless, right? And not only, and then they said, and not only that, if you take a look, no matter, like, yeah, you may have artists that, like I said, trendy, that's making trendy music, but they're the ones that are being consistently, continuously being played on in heavy rotation on radio. Take a look at the top 3 artists: Kendrick, Cole, Drake.
It doesn't really change much. Like, there's not a lot of nuance. But even to your point with the, let's say, the backpacker crowd, 80 to 90% of that shit still generic. Like, I did album reviews for a long while, right? And a lot of the backpacker underground guys, like, you could pull out a bingo card and start checking off the shit they say, and you've never heard the guy before. You could just look at who he's featuring on the album, and there's going to be anti-lean bars, there's going to be an anti-mainstream culture thing. You're going to diss a Lil Wayne probably, and like, you can go through this like little bingo card of shit that's so generic, where like, I agree with you, the talent and longevity stays, but that's the thing where it's like the artists that really have soul. Like, look at Future. A lot of people want to hate, but he's still here, because he comes and represents a group of people that it is deeper than what people might criticize Future for. Even Tom McDonald has fucking longevity because he stands for shit. I don't really like him, but he stands for shit, and it creates... I think that's what it is. It's when artists... To me, it's like a communication thing. Like, you can hear in your albums that there's like this desire to tell a particular story. Like, in particular, the song from you that has inspired me heavily is We're All We Got. Believe it or not, like, I've said that in a lot of interviews and shit, like that whole sentiment, because you look around the music scene and it's really easy to be critical and judgmental, but we're all we got. Like, that's it. The kids don't care about us. Like, the young people aren't really, like, like, who's still in this? That's who we got. And so, like, you look at that kind of shit, and it's the people that are willing to play their parts and, like, build towards the bigger mission. Those are the people that build longevity. And it's less about the talent, I think, and more about the character of the person. Like you're somebody that's widely respected, not just for your lyricism, but for who you are.
Appreciate that. Like,
this man goes on about your punctuality and shit. All this shit he's going on about it the other day. Fair enough. That was on me. But like, fair enough. And but I hear that kind of shit from you, Richeous, man. Everybody loved you. I didn't even know you knew half these people in the audience. Everybody's walking up to you, giving you a big ass hug and shit. These are like veterans. These are people who like, they have like a high regard of who they interact with. So like, it's that kind of shit that cultivates an audience. Like, I ain't shit if y'all aren't there at the show making it look dope too. You know what I mean?
Well, it's the way I see it. It's you scratch our back, and we'll make sure to scratch yours as well, right? Because I think, I guess the what became advantageous for all of us is, like you said, it's you're the one who is organizing and handling all the the logistics of setting up a show, and then you're asking you make sure to ask me, and automatically knowing that we're in album mode. And I said, you know what, not only will it be great for Richeous and myself to go out there and continue to promote the album that is coming out soon, it will allow Richeous to link up with you, because I'm not sure if you guys had linked before.
I never heard of Richeous. Never heard of the man.
But see, that's what I'm saying, right? So and again, back to a prior point that you brought, that we got the community. I feel like, when on Friday night, when at one point, like, I was just standing back and I was just sort of observing the people that were around. I was observing the ones that were performing on stage and the ones that were actually there and watching and listening and so on and so forth. And then it made me realize there really is like a sort of like a niche community of a specific type of rapper / musician / artist in the city. And I was looking at yourself, Chrome. I was looking at what's his name? I was looking at the Regulators. I was like, so Serenity that was there in the crowd. I was just paying attention to who was the MCO. Shout out to my man MCO.
Can we just pause? MCO. I mean, I only know him because of you, to be honest.
MCO's the guy.
That's another plug because of you. I might have met him, but I took him way more seriously because of you. But that dude is the most supportive male I've met in the scene.
Solid, super solid dude.
I have to specify male because some of them ladies might be more supportive. But MCO will be buying your merch. He bought a shirt the other day. So did Richeous. Thank you. But like MCO will buy your concert tickets. He doesn't even care the price. He just be like, how much? Let me buy 2. I don't even know if I'm gonna go.
Super solid. And
then he comes. That's what's extra crazy. Unless like his job is pretty high. Like he's got a good job. So if his job gets in the way, it'd be what it be. But that guy deserves a lot of flowers because I don't know anybody more supportive. Like with his money like that, and I'm just putting it bluntly, like with his money like that, than MCO.
No, he's solid. He's very solid.
Yeah, MCO invests in people, man.
He does.
That's his investment because he gets a ton of blessings from all the good connections that he makes. It all adds up, bro. It's like it's prosperity. It's like the difference between money. It's the difference between money and prosperity, right? I was thinking about what both of you guys said. Like, one, you told me that like a lot of people that are like old heads in the game were coming up to me, and the fact that you were just looking at the whole environment, and it kind of gave me like this timeline with the gap where I kind of fell off, and when I was deep in there when we met, and now, and this whole certain type of niche rapper style that is indigenous to Montreal is actually like, you only heard the regulators. It's I don't know how to explain this, but
they're lit.
But that track, Fuck Friends,
I think it's called Dead Mass or something. Like, I should know it by now, bro. I don't even know the rest of the words to that chorus. I tell them all the time, like, bro, I don't know what the fuck you're saying. It's like blah blah blah. Dead.
But it's the attitude.
No, but what's special about regulators is they ain't got a fucking song out.
Don't play.
Nah. All of that's if you know, you know.
Don't play.
Like, I'm wearing this.
I know they have their merch.
But it's.
I knew about their merch.
I was at like one of their first shows as regulators. It was in this Blue Dog circuit. I've been like to me, they're just another part of this wave we've been building. But like, I mean, I just interviewed 730, right? So like, it's like a musical group. They're relatively like newly pushing this, but they don't got no music out. I was talking to Skin Deep, and he like put it best. They're like the most if you know, you know thing in the English old man Montreal hip hop scene.
Okay.
And everybody who knows it loves it. Like you never mad if Regulators is there. It's always a great performance. And then Jimmy D's linked up with them, so you get him now associated with them. So it's like, yo, I was really proud of that show. Like, to be honest, that's not even about my performance. It was just how good all the music was. No, not even about me. It's just the music was so good. Even like, yo, that Sarah Gowa chick doing the Toxic cover and shit, like the Redbone cover. I don't know the other song. And then like,
bro, it was such a great lineup. It was such a great, like, I was, because usually you're at a hip hop show, usually like they let the inexperienced people like start to
I don't even
kill
think
time.
that's true. That shit feels sometimes like they pull names out the fucking hat.
I've seen that though. I've seen that too many times, and then sometimes there's like a really good performance and then it kind of dips and peaks and dicks but it was like fire in many varieties. And that's why I liked it, because it was hard to compare. You couldn't really compare anyone. Like, everyone like had a real solid identity of the kind of performer that they were.
I'd never heard Drew Edchill rap before. I didn't even know
Drew Edchill.
I didn't even know what he sounded like when I booked him dead ass.
The
leopard print pants.
The white dude weapon that came on right after us, bro. The guy, he slaughtered the whole. Right. Oh, by the way, MCO to grab that guy one time, just so you know.
Speaking on the show, you know what was new for me? Opening.
For real?
I'm not used to that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm used to maybe going like, I guess, like right down the middle of the pack or maybe closer to the end. But like as far as like me being like the very first act, that was new to me. But honestly, I liked it because I felt like it was like a proper tone setter.
Yeah, and in my experience, the opener gets the best crowd. Like, motherfuckers fight this shit, but I've been to I don't know, a good 100 shows in the last year. Now, sometimes the show does fill out later. I promise you, if I'm the promoter, that's not going to happen. I promise you. You probably, like, maybe, like, 10 more people are coming, but there's no, like, 11:30, 30 people pull up in my circle, because we're all, like, going to bed at 11:30. I'm so dead. But, like, so when I'm, like, looking at this shit, I'm like, nah. But I've been to, like, these Blue Dog shows, the Belmont shows. Like, I've been performing since 2012. And what happened was I was that guy that they would always throw as the opener because I wasn't cool yet in anything. Nobody knew who I was. I would always get the best crowd. Even you guys got the fullest audience. Like, we headlined and, like, half the fucking audience left mid-set. Granted, we did an hour, but that's not the point. But, like, yo, I watched the audience leave. I think you had the fullest room because that's what happens when you open. And, yeah, on this card, it was just what made the most sense given everything else that was involved in it. But I think, like, yeah, it was honestly cool to see you guys set it off. And then everyone went fucking nuts for you. And then you guys created a vibe that wasn't matched. Like, I think people have this shame on opening, but, like, at a well-organized thing, where in theory mine was not the most well-organized, but in general it will be. But, like, if people understand all the expectations, then opening is, like, what it is. Like, it, granted, you're the first guys, but it's still, like, a part of the show. Like, I'd rather open on, like, be part of a fire card and be the first guy than be, like, the middle card that's so flooded that half the audience is outside the whole time and other such things. So, like, yeah, I guess there's an ego element to it. Like, literally nobody wants to open.
Yeah, but I did.
And I'm not saying this about you.
No. But I'm see now you have me wondering. I don't. For me, see, that's the thing. For me, I don't believe that it is an ego thing per se, nor is it it's not like a stage fright where I feel like there's such a great tremendous level of pressure being applied on my shoulders to start the show off, being the first act. I don't think that's it. Like, I think it's more like you said, I guess, because some of the shows that I've been to, it wasn't necessarily the first opening act that had the, I guess the most voluminous audience, right? I feel like sometimes it'll be more like maybe the third, like from third act onward, that at that point that's where you would sort of start to see the room fill up, right? But I don't know.
I've seen, like, a whole bunch of versions of it, right? Because what happens is a lot of promoters are gonna not start the show on time, waiting for the audience, which is kind of like what I was being pressured into doing at that moment, regardless of you guys coming. But, like, honestly, in this case, I think it was the best choice. It worked out that we started because actually, like, between when you were supposed to start and when you did, like, a good 10 people did show up. So I was like, okay, that's not that bad. You know what? I'm just going to aim to start my shows later or something, but schedule it, like, more appropriately. Yeah. But, like...
So my lateness wasn't a bad thing?
Not at all.
Got it.
No. Yeah, was I stressed in a moment? Of course. I hate being a promoter.
Fam, you saying you were stressed, man. I was on the carry driving like freaking Michael Schumacher.
I just gotta say, okay. I just gotta say, okay. You are the most subtle, stressed out dude I've ever met. I could not.
Man, I had a lot of edibles at one point. I was like, I can't get drunk because when you drink like way too much, you're like, I'm not drinking for a month or two. We're good. I don't need to drink. Yep. I had one of them nights the weekend before, so now I'm like, I can't get drunk tonight. And then I had all these edibles from the 420 gift bag I just got in, so I'm like, let's eat some fucking edibles so I don't walk around like a spastic. Because already people were like, you look stressed. I'm like, oh, this is bad. Because, like, I'm terrible at smiling. Like, I'm just terrible at being, like, friendly like that. I'm just more of a stress basket case most of the time. Like, especially at these events, bro. They're so complicated because you're dealing with all the artists and it's like, oh shit, if you do one thing wrong and piss off anybody, it could kill the whole fucking vibe. It's not it. And then people are like, okay, so when's the show starting? And I'm like, I don't know how to answer this question right now.
You see that part, because your tone of voice doesn't change. Okay, it's just you get like he gets like a different flow. He gets he goes he goes from a N.A.R.S to like a DMX.
That's a fact. Yo, honestly, emoting with my voice, not a strong suit. Like, I was advised to, because the other day I drank a coffee before a podcast. I was told, drink coffee before your podcast, bro. Even if you have to pee or whatever, you sound way more energetic, and you need that in your life.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, you know, like, I don't know. I'll be at shows. Girls will be like, "Are you having fun?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "You look like this."
It's like this is how Russians party.
But I try to keep it in because nobody really needs that energy. Even if I'm tripping, like, my job is to make sure everybody's having fun. And as long as people are having fun, it doesn't matter if it's going my way. That's how I have to, like, it's a different game, right? Because that's the job. Everyone was happy when they left. Therefore, it was a success.
But as the promoter, organizer, like as the one in charge, it's a different kind of thing that we're enjoying. Because I've been in charge of things before, and I've been in charge of shows, right?
Think of take a backseat video shoot.
Yeah, there you go. Like this guy got videography and video editing skills, and he was organizing everything for the Take a Backseat video, right? And he was planning and I was production, but then he kept coming into production's friggin' tent, okay, back and forth, and then like unless you tell Flip, no, it's okay, we got this. That you gotta let him know that you got this, or he's going to try to make sure that everything's been got.
It's the hardest thing to hand things off. That is
delegation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's the hardest thing because it's trust, right? You have to trust that motherfuckers are going to deliver on what you hope the vision to be.
And you know what? To sort of piggyback off of what you just said, it wasn't a question of me, like of me having some sort of inability to trust Richeous with the vision, because it was a vision that he and I had developed, like, you know, in depth, right? The only thing is, because I am also viewing it from a cinematographer / director / editor's point of view. Like, I have that he may not necessarily have to the same level as I do. So my mind goes into like another dimension, right? Where and then I really start to, like you said, I feel like I need to make sure that, you know, all the ducks are in a row, that everything is in place. And obviously at that point, that's when, you know, you become a stress ball, and it's tough, because when stress takes over, that's when you start to miss a few other things that, had your mind been clear off rip, you would have been able to detect, right? So that in itself was it was very rough. But ultimately, like, if we're to talk about, you know, if we're to, I guess, to start talking about the project, I guess one of the main reasons why we're here,
absolutely, yeah,
is that night was an absolute success. It was, and the night of that video shoot, I've shot many videos before, but I had never done one like this before. Like, this was a new territory.
What was different about this video?
All right, so in a nutshell, this is the video we shot on Saturday, the 15th of October, 2022. The reason why this video...
Oh, you were...
I invited you, but you couldn't. Yeah,
I was performing.
Exactly, yeah, you had to step out of town. So the reason why this video was different is because we had a lot of extras, like a lot of people, just off the strength of support and community that came to show love. Both he and I, we contacted a bunch of people just to, hey, can you come to the such and such? We're shooting a video. So like, we reached out to a bunch of people, and you know how it is, right? Like, sometimes you'll ask people to, come through, and then
I tried to get people to just fucking clap their hands in a video one time. I got 3 people out of like the 50 I asked to send me that shit back.
See, that's what I'm saying. So sometimes
I'll say a dead ass, whatever.
Okay. But you see, and not only that, like, for us, I remember, like, for me, I was messaging some people and whatnot, and then I'll let you know, and then you wouldn't hear from them, and then you feel like you have to. And then one thing that I hate doing, I hate having to chase after people. I hate doing that shit.
Hate it.
I absolutely
So
loathe
bad at
it.
it.
Yeah, but I understand that, like, you know, I guess it's part of the game, quote unquote, whatever. So
it's been put to me, if you want to deal with artists, you have to deal with artists.
Yeah. Nah, that's a very good quote, actually. That is a very good quote. That is a very good quote. But see, Holden, not only that, the day of, I got about maybe 3 or 4, like within a 2-hour span, about 3 or 4, yo, Flip, my fault, man, I can't make it, so on and so forth.
So you're feeling that.
Oh, so I felt it heavy. I don't even think I told you. I was speaking with Wise. Shout out to Wise. I was speaking with Wise on the phone, and I was, he could tell, like, I was stressed as F, because I was like, shit, man, can you imagine if, because again, mind you, this is something that, just for the video show, he and I invested money in this, because we had to rent.
Bro, that's the exact feeling of hoping people pull up to your show.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You see? So, we invested money in we had to rent a limousine. We had to get food for the people that were there. We had to rent the room. It was a lot of, we had to buy, like, items and accessories just to accessorize the video, right? So that in itself was a bit. So for me, I was like, damn, can you, like, we've invested all of this time and energy and money into this product, and I'm not even sure what the turnout will be. And then lo and behold, man, the turnout was, honestly, that night, I was very proud. I was proud of what Richeous and I and my boy Wise and the Right Focus and Shane as well, who came in, like, he's another videographer who came in to help. Honestly, that night I couldn't have asked for a better production night. It was incredible.
Yeah, no.
It was absolute. Honestly, it was. And mind you, like, even the following day, right? Just, you remember, like, how many people were posting videos on their stories about, like, because a lot of people were saying, like, they've been to, like, some of them had been to video shoots, but in our case, it was a video / movie. Like, we had an actual scripted scene where
shout out Chris Chrome, who pulled up in the chat. Chris
Chrome, what up?
Chris and I have our infamous 7 hours in a Ganawage parking lot story that took place that same day. That's what we were doing, and it's all love, because that guy was fucking great, and, like, they set up a whole event. It was just in a parking lot, and it just happened to be one of those days that was not one of the hotter days of your rap career. So we've dubbed it the 7 hours in the Ganawage parking lot day, and that was what was happening while you guys were making a fucking movie.
But yeah, no, so the night in itself was, and mind you, this was the second video that we shot, right? Because we shot Hot Potato.
After.
You're right.
We shot Highest of Lows
last.
We shot Highest of Lows first, and then we shot Take a Backseat, and then Hot Potato, which actually was the first one that dropped. Right? And like, but if you had seen the amount of people that were actually there in the room, like you were talking about, the next day people were like, look at me, I was at this big video shoot, and like being part of the team, like I'm not looking at it like that. Like, me and Flip, we're already like normalized to the whole environment. So I'm like, okay, so we're like, okay, this has to be done, that has to be done, that has to be done. Okay.
Yo, shout out MCL for pulling up.
Brilliant.
Yo, what up?
Gee, MC. You know what I'm saying? MCL was actually an amazing backup musician. He was the saxophonist, by the way.
Yeah, I hear MCL does it all. That's all I'm saying.
Most definitely. And look, we had to redo our scenes. We had to direct the audience, the all our extras. Tell them to ignore this mic or ignore that camera, and like for them, it was like such a professional experience. And I only knew like afterwards how like professional they felt. Some people came to me and they're like, "Yo, I've been to music videos, but I've never seen nothing like this."
Nah,
You guys,
man,
you guys
like most video shoots. Let's be real, and this is a no disrespecting. We all do what we produce, but you'll see a man with a camera, and you'll see a few homies. And
it's like the starter kit for yeah, yo. The way you described it, I swear it's like the starter kit for.
Like, I didn't mean to take shots, but the other day I made a comment like, yo, this Felix's video where he's in bed the whole time was more creative to me than like videos I've seen of people standing in front of cars and models where like, yo, I get the whole studio thing, and don't get me wrong, I can't afford it. So maybe deep down it's my inner hater shitting on some shit I can't afford. But I love when I like the nicest music video I think I've seen, like really impressed me, was Talia has this one where she told me she copped all the shit at the Dollarama, designed a whole set in her apartment, put it all up, made a cake, and smashed a cake.
Word.
And yo, straight up, I thought it was like what you guys are describing. She's like, nah, B, I did this at home with Dollarama shit. So it's like, I like that creative element to it, right? I like it when people go like more with it, because I don't really like a lot of music videos. I find them really not interesting to me. But like, if you're gonna give me something to watch that's got like a plot line in it or something above and beyond, then it's like cool. Like I like cool visuals. Like I'm a sucker for body paint type dancing shits, you know, like shit that looks like a vibe where like, I mean, it is what it is. Them ladies is fire. But like, but even just like the concept you pitched, or when you see some shit like that, like it's just cooler. It shows like I almost don't do music videos right now because I don't have any good concepts that I can afford. So I don't want to just make another shitty visual.
But you see, this goes back to what we spoke about earlier, in terms of not cheating the art. I'm real, like I said, and for me again, because I come from I studied video production and so on and so forth, right? So for me, every time that I that the time comes for a video shoot, my team and I, we always, well, obviously, like I'll have an idea, and then I'll present the idea to the team, and then we'll discuss, we'll brainstorm, and so on and so forth. But for this, so let's if we're to stick to Black Clouds, the album, right? The first,
and that's just to be clear, that's your collaborative album, or is that like a group?
It's a collaborative album. Yeah.
So it's like Mr. FlipStar and Richeous.
Black
X
Clouds
with like an X between your names.
Right.
Black Clouds.
That's correct. Yes.
That's a whole album coming.
Correct.
Soon.
Yes. So with this Black Clouds album, right? So the idea for the project started 2 years ago. Well, okay, actually no, I'm sorry. Let me go down further.
Go back as far as you need to.
Yes, in the timeline. So in 2016, the idea actually initially came from my big homies. His name is Jay Cash. Jay Cash, what up, man? He used to rap. He no longer raps. He quote unquote retired, but he no longer raps. He's
just one comeback away,
so to speak, right? But he no longer raps. But I remember like it was him who initially he had the idea for he and I to do the project together, right?
Right.
But again, because he had other engagements and other obligations, I guess the desire to rap, the desire to take the time to put the pen down and produce and so on and so forth waned. At that point, the project sort of died, or at the very least it was in a coma.
Right.
But I still, because there were a few instrumentals from there that we're actually using in the album still from back 2016 that we are still made the final cut for the album, that I personally felt like a special connection with those beats. And then again, like he and Jay Cash, like we would talk about it every now and again, every few years. You know, like sometimes he would send me like a such and such type beat from YouTube. Say, yo, this is like this would be like this would have been great for BC. And he would kept teasing me, and I'm like, fam, come on, like just stop dicking around. Let's do it. But he's like, nah, like my head's not in the game, whatever. So for me, I was like, all right, cool. So I'm gonna just put that on ice. So then I sort of redirected my attention towards my personal projects, follow up, heart of storytelling, whatever. And then when Richeous and I relinked for Roots of My Fruits for my most recent album, that's when it's like eureka. It just ding. And then I said, and I remember I said, yo, I think I have something that you and I could do something with. And then automatically my mind went to Nas and Damian Marley, their joint album. Because I was like, because not only that, like I felt at that point that Richeous and I had already developed like a certain chemistry, sonically and musically. I felt that we had shown on numerous occasions that we are able to organically bounce off of each other in terms of styles and whatnot, right? So yeah, I felt that it made sense. So at that point, I presented the idea to him, and I said, yo, I think you and I should do an album together. And he said, say less. I said, I have a few songs, like, and I explained to him it was a project that, it's like like a pilot project with another dude, whatever, but it never panned out. And I said, like, I think that this is something that can be extremely special. And I kind of felt like this was like a collision course waiting to happen.
Yo, did you just reference the Jay-Z and Linkin Park album?
Something like that.
Oh, wow. Bro, that's amazing. Because I just want to say, when that dropped, I'm like in grade 9, right? I love Linkin Park. And I can't say I appreciated Jay-Z yet, but it's not lost on me who Jay-Z is.
Right.
That was the greatest thing I ever saw in music, in my opinion, at that time. Like, I couldn't have asked for a more amazing thing. And then, like, nobody agreed with me, apparently, because it was the only collision course that ever happened, and the idea got deaded really fast. But, like, Numb Encore is an amazing song to this very day. I digress. That shit. Sorry, I got excited about that.
So again, I introduced the idea to Richeous, and he was on board right away. He was like, yeah, like it's we've done a few songs together, but let's commit to an actual LP. So I said, perfect. So from that point, I think the first song that I sent to you was Take a Backseat. I sent him, so Take a Backseat again, the big movie scene that we shot with everybody, which is for sure, like we knew that was going to be the main single, like we knew it.
Well, hold on, you're missing something. You're missing something because look,
it's good to have both of you.
Because I honestly, like, I desperately needed this push because I had a whole bunch of tracks lined out to say, okay, I'm going to record one after the other, and I'm just going to drop a lot of tracks to make up for all the lost time, right? And then he comes through, he tells me about the album. I said, perfect, because right now, I'm fucking broke. So, two like, more hands to help. Thank God, yes, right? It's right down the middle.
No, that makes
right?
a big difference in life.
Right? Exactly, bro. And so he sent me the first track. All right, and we weren't thinking album when this whole thing started. We were thinking maybe five, six joints, right? And so he sent me Take a Backseat, and I'm like, I heard the beat, and I'm like, okay, this was cool. But then when I heard his verse on the beat, I was like, okay, something just kind of clicks in me. Like all the chemistry from the previous songs that we did together, it just clicked. And he told me, like, okay, immediately when I started writing, it was like this whole Nas and Damian Marley thing. The first track that we did, he was rapping, I was more singing, right? And I was kind of discovering the kind of raspiness in my voice because I can cover Damian Marley songs. Right, I can cover Damian Marley songs, and then when Take a Backseat came around, and I started writing, and then Yeah.
He sent me. He wrote quick.
Yeah, it was like he said. I wrote quick. Yeah, it was like what a day and a half.
Mm-hmm.
A day and a half. I sent it back. I did. I send a recording. No,
Yeah, it was a recording.
right. But all of that pales in comparison to when we finally went to the studio. Okay, and actually heard what it was meant to sound like. That's when we knew that it was going to become an album. That's when we knew that okay, we have something to work with, and then from then we started mining for instrumentals, and started.
Yo, how do you guys mine for instrumentals? It's gonna sound ridiculous, but my entire career, they've just landed in my lap. And then I've now hit a point where I'm like, I kind of want to get some instrumentals in my life, even because MCO's folder never showed up yet. Wink, wink, MCO. But me and CC over there want to do a little side project called Ho Ho and CC, and really just run with that shit. And then I'm like, how the fuck do you find beats? I've never really done it. I've never really just gone and looked for beats. Like, I know it sounds ludicrous, but I've never done that.
Okay. No. I'm sure Flip has something to say on that too. I'm gonna pass it right on to you. Just let me say this: it's a mixture of both, because beats have landed in instrumentals, have landed in my lap, his lap, our laps, right? And at the same time, when you're searching for it, oh shit, was the same thing. That happened with one of our instrumentals. We were searching for the instrumental. We couldn't find an instrumental, and then an ad played with an instrumental, and we were like, "That's the one."
It's wild,
right?
Shout out the fucking almighty algorithm.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yep. So, I had about Take a Back Seat was already. I already knew that one. BC Outro, already knew that one. I Grew Upon, and so these three were BC products. I know even from before you and I really started going in the project. There was also Front Desk Crush. That one was not BC, but I had it in a tuck.
Right.
Because I kind of felt like, you know what, maybe this one could potentially be in there. And I think that's it. I think the other ones were selected by you and me. So
And you got from your boy, Hash to the Tag.
Right. Nolly on the track. Shout out. So it was... So I would say maybe about 4 to 5 songs were sort of already had been pre-selected, but again, I still ran them by Richeous to see what his feedback was, and he was like, no doubt. Because honestly, Take a Back Seat, just the instrumental, I think that's what hooked you in. But then when, like you said, when you heard the verse and whatnot, I felt like that was automatic for you.
Because, bro, this is like, what do you call it, eclectic? I don't know if I used the right word, but it was like full circle, right? Because the just like the first track we did together, there was a groovy saxophone in this instrumental that I was digging. So that's also a main reason why I had this kind of nostalgia surrounding this first creation for the album. But I'll be honest, right? Like a lot of the tracks, a lot of the instrumentals, I would bug a lot. Like I was like, maybe we could find a better instrumental, maybe this, maybe that. And Flip would be like, no, Richeous, I'm telling you. He would like fight for us. Like, okay, fine, I'll try to write something like that to this, right? And for example, I Grew Up On. I felt like the beat was too old school. Like I felt like it was too behind time, right? But I really like what he did on it, right? And it's like, in my opinion, I mean, like, I would have to be old school too because I still like that shit. But that's not what I wanted to put out. And he made me, but something unique happened because he said, just just please, let's just keep this one. I'm like, okay. So it forced me to write the best possible thing I could to it, and now it's one of my favorite tracks.
But it be like that.
So the song is called "I Grew Up On" and "It Grew Up On You."
Yeah.
No, but I love that too, because like even what you're saying, the behind the times thing, like to me that's deaded, right? Like think about your playlist and then think about everybody, not like maybe individuals, but like the like song section, you know, all the shit you collect. How eclectic is it? How all over the place is your interest, right? You're gonna bump the N.A.R.S today. Maybe tomorrow you want some Migos shit. Maybe the next day you want death metal. I don't know how deep your shit goes, but like people be all over. Like dead ass, my mood dictates what I listen to. I don't give like yo. Sometimes I want to listen to My Chemical Romance. It just be them days, and it's like. Like that's how people kind of are. So like in this era where you can have a track from 8 years ago blow up randomly, it's like it doesn't really matter as much what the trending sound is in the algorithm world. This is the benefit to the AI algorithm world, is now it no longer actually matters as much. It just matters that like you're making a song you want to make, because I think people feel that energy off the joint.
Well, and that was one of the key ingredients in terms of conceptualizing the album. It was for us to, I guess, select instrumentals that we felt could stand the test of any period, right? Like it doesn't matter if it's in the, if it's early 2000s or 2023. Like and not only that, we were extremely meticulous when it came to not only selecting the instrumentals, but the subject matter of each song. I had some that I already had in mind.
I don't think y'all understand how I be telling people he's my favorite album maker in Montreal. And I don't say that lately because I be doing these reviews. His shit be stories with like little intricate points that connect to each other and shit. Like this man be plotting his albums the way a showrunner plots a season of TV.
For real. No.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But and I felt that this is but again I really appreciate the compliments, but you're the same way as well, because there were songs that we had the instrumental and I was like, I have no idea what the fuck to talk. I don't like, I hear it, I have an idea, but if if we're to really like hone in onto okay, this is what the content will. Like Front Desk Rush, who came with the title? That was you. Who came with the concept? That was you. I told you I felt it needed to be about a girl, but I didn't know what. And he was just, am I front desk? I said, there you go. And
I love it. Because like dead ass, this is how motherfuckers write songs and shit. You you get a lie.
But not only that, one thing that really makes, to me personally, what makes this entire journey special, I knew before we started that what we were creating was different. So I opted from the jump to document what we do. So we have video footage.
That's why this man's earlier on in the interview, for those that weren't there, Flip was filming us in the interview on some real shit. He was filming the behind the scenes.
I have 2 years worth of footage of he and I in studio at his place, just in my car. Like sometimes we would film in the car while coming back from the studio, just rapping over what we just bounced from. It's like we have a lot of documentation for the past 2 years that in a few years I'll probably be like, you know what, now I'd like to start compiling this and collaging all of this footage to create like a documentary.
Dead ass, what he's giving you right now is some real game. Shout out JS No Regard, who has told me on repeat that I don't film enough of my life, which I don't. I know it sounds weird for how much of my life that you like see. I don't really film that much of my life.
Same here.
Right? Like, and you really want to, because one day we all up there at this next level. And it's these moments that they're going to be wondering about that is not necessarily being documented. And I know a lot of people have lifestyles that don't necessarily encourage filming, but a lot of us, we're just in a lane where we can film all of our activities and it's kosher.
No, but I'm with you. I myself, I'm not a, as crazy as this might sound, I'm not too big on being in front of the camera that often. I'm not, like, unless it's for music, 1,000%, video shoots. But I understood again, and it kind of sort of went against my personal, I guess, beliefs or preferences in terms of like, damn, like, because I understand that it's a lot of work just to film, just to think about it. But again, knowing,
or it's learning how to behave candidly, knowing you're being filmed, because otherwise, what's the fucking point?
Right. But knowing that what we were creating was like has the potential. No, f that, is special. It's not a question of potential. It is special. I think he and I have devoted more than sufficient amounts of energy, time, money, disagreements, so on and so forth, just to be able to feel like we've managed to somehow, some way, it's like a big gumbo pot of different ideas that and then we're sort of stirring, just trying to see how we can manufacture the best possible product. And again, we've worked on this for so long. Like, sometimes, like, I'm just sitting at home and I listen to the album from top to bottom, and I'm patting myself on the back on behalf of him and myself, because like we did that. And
that fucks with that energy.
Yeah, and now when Richeous and I, and I'll let him speak on it some more, when we go out, for instance, like, this is what, our third time, I believe, performing Hot Potato.
Y'all gotta understand,
because we performed it back in April at the Blue Dog. That was the very first time in Toronto.
Was there a time before Toronto?
I can't remember. Oh yeah. In November, when with Widget and DZ and MCO, they came to the spots. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, and every time that we've performed Hot Potato, the reaction, because I will.
Okay, I'll give it to you like this, yeah. Motherfuckers are used to a lot of backtrack, melodies, and a lot of things. Like, deadass, I used to rap like that, and I stopped. I slowed myself down, believe it or not, a lot. Like, because it's a lot of effort to do that shit. These mans came through and performed it, like, in real life, as if it was a studio recording. They were that prepared. They were bouncing off each other as though they had gone to a room ahead of time and practiced this shit to a point of damn near perfection, where our sloppy ass Wu-Tang wannabe set was very different. But it was because we didn't do all the practicing. It was fucking hard to get 11 people, or 8. No, it was like 11, I think.
I can only imagine.
I mean, a set list,
it's
never going to happen like that right now. Yeah. But we were cool with that. We knew what we were getting into. But, like, in an act like this, like, the level of preparedness was there. And then nobody's really expecting it, right? Because your guys is like solo shit, swipe left, and then you got me in with another one that's like, can't sing it as well.
In the zone.
But like, you're like
in my zone.
You're like, you're there, and it's not that, and then all of a sudden it's like watching Tech Nine and Chris Calico hand the mic off mid line, not just mid line.
But okay, so all right, so I will pass I'll pass it back to like Steve Nash. But okay, hold on. So okay, so I will let Richeous speak about the surprise element, right? Because I know he loves to touch on that subject, especially in terms of crowd reaction. But so we had all 10 songs prepped, right? And then one thing that I've been doing for the past 2 albums, and I explained that to him, and I got that from J. Cole, actually. J. Cole and Kendrick, both of them did it, where they would usually release like a Lucy prior to the album. So some shit that's not on the album is just to give you like a kind of like a feel, like a, kind of like a Moose Boosh, I guess, if you want to call it that, right? So what we did, I did that with for my 2018 album, the follow-up, it was a song called Nerd a Cool Table, right? So that was the introduction. Then in 2021, I did it with a song for my heart, for the Heart of Storytelling. I did it with a song, but it was more of like a spoken piece. By the way, go on YouTube. It's called It's called The Open Letter, Mr. FlipStar.
I remember that one.
Exactly. So that was it, right? So I said to Richeous, look, we have 10 songs for the album. All good. we need to give them something that's not on the album, like an appetizer, just so that they can kind of get a feel for what's about to come. But I said to him, but I don't want us to go, I want us to do something that we haven't done on the album. And he said, what's that? I said, I want us to write the verse together. And what we will do is not only, like, it won't be like I do line A, you do line B, and then so on and so forth. There will be slots where you will actually pick up halfway through the verse.
Bro, that was that it right there, bro. That shit, like, because you got to understand, like, I never even pulled off one of them writing with other people verses. It's on my bucket list. But then watching you guys, you got to understand, like, they didn't stutter. There was no missing. Like, I be sloppy when I perform because I'm selling you on energy and shit. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to strip and shit. But, like, I'll be missing lines here and there. It's a fact. They didn't miss a syllable in the whole fucking song. And it's a lot of syllables. Like, it's compacted, like, rap god kind of speed. Like, just to give you context, we're not talking about a simple fucking rhythm scheme. They came at it like they on Strange Music and trying to impress that crowd with full tenacity. Midline swapping.
Shit. But look, cause Flip missed a couple details, right? Because there's something leading up to that, right? Because we had just came out of the studio, right, from working on the album when we were having this conversation. We were right in front of the studio. We were right in front of MakeWay, and we were talking about how we were going to construct this song, and the conversation started bouncing back and forth like how our song is. And I'm like, yo, this is some hot potato shit. And he's like, yes, that's the one. Yeah, yo, but then he's like, okay,
crazy? That title sticks, bro. Like, I don't be remembering song titles, but I remember that one.
bro, you should have seen the gears in this guy's head turning. It's like a damn burst, bro. When I say hot potato, then he's like, okay, yeah, we definitely got to write that one together. And the songwriting process was very, very unique because like it's like, you know, you're there with someone and sometimes, you know, some people write slower than other people, so on and so forth. And
I know all about that.
and it's like we were at this point we were used to like sitting next to one another writing verses.
And the writing process. Oh yes, it is documented. It's filmed.
Yeah, I like how FlipStar is like, don't you worry, this documentary is real. It's coming, boys. I didn't just get all this footage for nothing.
Yo, trust. And like, I'm fortunate because me and FlipStar have been working together for such a long time. We've been sitting next to each other writing rhymes that we kind of have the synergy in the room, right? And like, now we have this rapport that we can ask one another. We don't have like that pride that we can't ask one another like what would go well here, right? Or what would go well there.
Nah, you can't have that pride. Like, okay, like, I know there's a lot of people who are like, bro, I'm gonna write every bar I want. And that's cool for your, like, I'm a rapper flex songs, in my opinion. You flexing on being an excellent rapper, per se, on, like, some solo joint where you're hot. Okay, write that. But, like, if you're trying to create, like, a good product song, having the input of other people is gonna help. Because, like, sometimes you just artistically make bad decisions. Yeah, right. As you say, you're still stuck in your own ways. But, like, so having, like, somebody else be like, yo, like, dead ass, my song Jimmy Says, my mans gave me the word manure, which filled out a line perfectly. I didn't come up with that word. I took it from him because he came up with it. It's fire. It was the perfect word. And you just need to have that humility, like, as much as I'm sure Jay-Z writes all his music, I'm sure if Jay-Z's in the room and somebody gave him a better word for a line, he's not going to switch it.
He's going to fucking take it, dog.
Like, these people are professionals. They understand the best song. And it's when you talk to producers, you see this shit more. Like, rappers got egos about songwriting, but producers are like, fuck your one take. Fuck all your things you think you know about songwriting. Let's make the best song possible.
Exactly, and this is what we began to become one mind about. Like, we are going to make the best possible product possible that we can muster together, right?
So is it like you would stop at a line and then he would take over? Like, how do you guys actually write it like that?
All right, well, I'll start. I'll let you finish how we went about that. Anything that I missed, definitely let them know. All right, so we started like any other brainstorm, just putting ideas down, right? And then like was it well, you'll let them know afterwards, but did we already choose 2 beats at that point? No, we didn't choose 2 beats yet. Right?
So instrumental selection. So not only I came to Richeous with the idea, and then he said hot potato. I said that's perfect, and I said I think it would be great for us to have 2 instrumentals, so not just one. So I came with the first one, right? So the first part, but he didn't like it at first. Well, that's not that he didn't like it. He felt that it wasn't energetic enough, right? He felt that it was too mellow, and I told him, I said, yo, just trust me on this. We'll start off with this, and then we'll flip it into something that is high octane and whatnot, right? But do you know how it took us maybe about a week to find? Do you remember how many instrumentals I sent you? And he said, no, not that one. And then when he heard that one, he said, that's the one. And when he heard it, the second part, he was on it right away. I wasn't. I said, I was still skeptical. I said, I'm not sure. And so just like I asked of him to trust me on part A, he asked of me to trust me to trust on part B. And then I said, okay. And then I said, now, so what we need is some sort of transition. I said, like, let's grab like a movie soundbite. So I sent him Apart from Fresh Prince. I sent him Apart from The Matrix. I sent him Apart from Menace to Society. And then I sent him Training Day, Denzel. But when I sent, so he listened to all 5. And I sent him something from Baby Boy as well. But when he heard Denzel, he said, that's it. Like, scrap the other ones. I said, you sure? He said, scrap the other ones. So I said, all right, cool. So, and now, again, like, to me, this is when I say that there is such a thing as like a universal synergy that realigns everything. Because if you listen to the line, I'm going to burn these motherfuckers down. And burn hot potato, the fire component of the song and the video. It all came full circle. So when I was editing the video, and when you hear Denzel's part from Training Day, and then you see the potatoes being lit on fire in like super slow motion, that's when it dawned on me, like, yo, this made all the sense in the world.
So let's like give a little breakdown on like the song, right? Okay, so
I just gotta give credit to you guys for a second. You may not know where I'm coming from this, but episode 170, right? Most people can't go more than 10 minutes being interesting about talking about their own music, and you guys are able to be engaging talking about a single fucking song. It's entertaining too. Like, I'm like, let's go. But like, as I was thinking about it, I'm like, man, people don't love their music as much as these guys love their music.
Respect, bro. Yo, cause look, check the breakdown on the song, right? It's like, okay, hot potato, right? Back and forth, right? Yeah. So switching on beats, switching on lines, switching even in between syllables, finishing each other's lines. Right? It was
hard, bro.
Right? We were writing when we started to write, and this is like the crucial part, because there's always a point where you got to break through and then get synergy and get the flow. And then you're in the zone, then things are just bouncing off of one another. But the initial inertia, the push that you need to break that first barrier is crucial. And so at that point, it's just open, like, whatever we like the best is the winner. So it's not like I'm waiting for Flip to finish his part so I could write something after him. Like, we're both trying to do the opening line at the same time.
So you guys are competing.
Basically, it's healthy competition. It's just like I would dunk on his ass if he's on the court. It's healthy competition.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, the end result is a dope track. Y'all can check that shit out for sure. But the performance was spectacular. And like people weren't expecting it because of how you set up your set, because they didn't set it up where they're giving away all this speed. Like, I mean, FlipStar is constantly kind of intricate with it, but like it's different. It's like you guys kind of tone down and then smack them in the face with that shit. And when they're doing it live, right, I didn't even hear the sample, right? So to me it just sounded like the song stops for a second. They're like hyping up whatever, and then it just kicks back in and the whole crowd loses their shit.
Oh wow, that's the feedback I needed to hear because we're busy losing our shit on stage.
No, but like that part where it pauses for bro, it was so lit. Everything about that was hard. It was like, because when it kicked back, I was like, is the song done? What's going on? And no, it's not. And then you guys just burst into it again when we were like, what the fuck just happened? It was hard. It was like, it felt like a boomerang.
Dope. Flip, you wanna give them a little info on how to find the song?
So please, just YouTube Mr. FlipStar Richeous. That's Richeus. The song is called Hot Potato. The video. So if you don't mind me, I'm just gonna comment a bit on the video. So for the video. So obviously, once we developed the concept for the song, I said, right, we have to shoot a video for this. And he said, okay, what do you have in mind? And then I told him I'm seeing a vision of you and I having different types of costumes and just, both of us wearing them and then like being back and forth. And my man Wise, he had told me about a spot in the Sheen that he felt would be ideal for us to film. So I said, okay. And we found this spot. Obviously, you can see it in the video. It's like under like a big rock, but it's like two portals. And so it felt perfect for us to sort of stand like in between these portals, but I can't see him and he can't see me, but the camera's sort of like panning from left to right, so on and so forth. But again, and this goes back to never cheating the art. So to me, never cheating the art is not just sonically, it's also visually. So that's why when it comes to videos, I always take a very long time to really develop a concept and then present it to the team, and then we brainstorm and so on and so forth. So for this video, he and I, we invested money to get different types of costumes and so on and so forth. And again, I wanted for us to, seeing as how it's two different beats, I wanted for us to do night and day, literally. One just being shot during the day, one being shot at night. And I really want two different locations, two different ideas. And I told him that it would be great for us to actually have potatoes being set on fire. He got excited. I said perfect. And it was to the point where I started Googling how can I make sure that the potatoes will stay lit, right? There was like a whole research.
What's the answer?
Shit, man. So I actually went to the gas station. I actually purchased some fuel, put him like my dad had one of them pints, and yeah, I just grabbed it, and that's what it is. And that's how we were able to
Okay, it's like it's so simple,
right?
Not lighter fluid, okay?
No, lighter fluid is not strong enough. I can prompt, but we tried it, wasn't strong enough.
You heard it here. You see, there's the things you don't think about. How to keep a potato on fire, because it's a moist ass motherfucking vegetable. I guess you could dry them first, but that's not practical.
You don't want to eat a potato after you cooked it with gasoline, okay? Just don't not do that.
Disclaimer: no potatoes were harmed during the video shoot. But yeah, so
where did you guys film the burning of potatoes with gasoline?
Look at that. So initially, we filmed in Saint Laurent, close to the airport, right? Because we had an idea, we're going to drone this shit. We'll have the potatoes around us like a circle and so on and so forth. We went to shoot that night. So, few obstacles. Obstacle number one, we're close to the IKEA, like the IKEA in Saint Laurent.
I used to work like there.
So, there's a big open parking lot behind. So, I said, perfect. So, we go there. Next thing you know, while we're getting ready to shoot, there's a police vehicle that comes up. Whoop, whoop. What are you guys doing here? So we came up with the story. We're just shooting something for a school project, so on and so forth. And he was saying, "Well, do you guys have a permit?" We said, "No, we don't," because again, it's like that part was like an abandoned building. But honestly, the police officers were really cool. They said, "Look, just you guys don't be too loud and don't be too late. They were really cool. So we were like, oh, I bet. So they left. So so we light the potatoes on fire and everything. So we're ready to go. My boy Wise tries to activate the drone. Doesn't work. You know why? Too close to the airport. It senses the location, and
when the airplanes is landing, everybody would just shut the fuck up because they're like landing right next to there.
Exactly, but the drone itself wouldn't even fly. It wasn't a question of us.
It's like the radar. They put off.
Like the sensors. So obviously, so we said, damn. But we had some footage that we could use, obviously, which we ended up using in the video. The only thing is when it came to the aerial shots. So we found this other spot in Laval, close to where my parents live, and we were able to find it. We shot. And we were able to get the shots that we needed. Yeah. It was cold as shit that night. It was really cold, but we made it happen. Honestly, I was really happy. But yeah, so, and again, back to the whole not cheating the art thing. It was important for Richeous and I to, again, because this is a model that I have followed personally, musically, when it comes to video productions and so on and so forth. That I really try to go like, let's try to insert some sort of abstract element to what we do, right? So I explained that to him, and he said, you know what, Flip, I'm gonna give you free reins, because he knows like this is what, like, I live for this shit. So he was like, I trust you, I trust your vision. That obviously he had his input and whatnot, but nonetheless he said, go ahead. And so I explained to him the entire idea. He was down. We made it happen. We were the video shoot was fun. We shot by the lighthouse in Lachine. We went there on a Saturday morning. It was like 7:45 in the morning. Like, it was cold. It was super early. We were all tired. Probably still had some shit like in our, like, some eye boogers and shit. But we shot honestly. But the reason why we knew that we had to go extra early is because we wanted to go before. Because obviously it's like a tourist spot, right? So a lot of people come in.
Basically, the hack is, if you want to avoid people, go when people are sleeping.
There you go. So we were able to do that, and we got some great shots. Like, see, like the drone shot that we got right before, like when it actually flies over the lighthouse before, like, I love that, right? So once we had all the footage, we said perfect. But again, because it took longer than expected in terms of album completion, the footage sat on ice for a minute, right? Because we shot this in fall of 2021. Like, that's how long we shot this video, right? And then we had the next video that we shot. I'm gonna let you speak on that. Highest of lows.
You mean highest of lows?
Are you really putting me on the spot?
But it was fucking February. It was February. It was December. It was still December. It was cold as fuck, man.
I like how this is Richeous' memory. It's cold. That's all I can remember.
That's all I can fucking remember. That it was cold. Okay. But look, the uniqueness about this one is that, okay, this is featuring Serenity. Okay, shout out to Serenity. That's Serenity. My sis for life, right? And there's a connection between this video and the Take a Back Seat video, which at that point we didn't know that yet, though, right? But because we were conceptualizing this album to really be able to have a story, to really that each different song is a different concept, right? Then when she came into play and we were doing the scenes for the actual video, the idea started coming, and Flip is like, yo, suppose we can have Serenity be this particular character, which we will not say because that would be a huge spoiler. You'd have to wait till the video comes out. But suppose she is this particular character and XYZ, and that's usually how it happens between me and Flip, right? Flip would come up with something, I would build on it, or I would come up with something and Flip would build on it, right? The video is It's pretty interesting. Can I talk about this video?
So he's like, yo, talk about the video. He's like, talk about the video, but no, you can't talk about the video. Let's just.
This fucking guy.
All this to say that, again, we so the video for Heist. The video for Heist of Lows essentially is the sequel / prequel
because of how you guys
to the main single. Exactly. No, but not only that, but like
the story element.
Exactly. The storyline, but we were able to link the two together. But yeah, no, honestly, and now we have some other videos that we will be shooting probably within the next 2 to 3 months. But yeah,
you're done with cold.
Yeah, no, exactly. Those will not be shot in cold. That's in cold temperature. But so now, so when it comes to the album, again, when Richeous was talking about the songs and how every song has, we like I said, we were very meticulous and in terms of. Okay, so so what is Black Clouds about? What are we going to be talking about in every song? And there are some subjects that we touch on, like song number 9, for instance, Mother Nature. Like some songs are very personal. Obviously, Take a Back Seat. Essentially, it's like I guess it's like an underlying message to other artists in terms of how we feel we can establish ourselves in the game, especially Montreal, for instance. Because, again, we know that sonically, in terms of instrumental, in terms of flows, in terms of deliveries, cadences, lyrics, just the technical aspect, as well as the sonical aspect of how we compose songs. Again, and this is not me saying this, me being cocky or me lacking humility. This is really just me saying I'm extremely confident in the talent that you and I are able to mesh together and produce a product and an item that will be palatable to the ears of any and all.
This is the most humble brag I ever heard in my life.
because it's like what we was telling you before, right? If you come on the court, we're going to take the chance to dunk on your ass. It's like that's why the court exists, right? People just start taking things personal and get all in their feelings and shit. It's like he feels he's so hot.
It's because blah, blah, people don't necessarily get it. Like, I don't feel threatened by y'all because I know that on the stage next to y'all, I'm getting applause too. So I'm all Gucci.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes people don't have that level of like confidence in their soul, in their talent, and in their ability. And then they feel threatened by this. But, like, if you know you're good, why are you worried about another man knowing he good is how I see it.
That's what I'm saying. And I don't know if it's, like, with the changing times and generations and stuff like that. But when I grew up, okay, every man was the best. And we clearly knew every man wasn't the best. We knew that some men were better than others.
Dead ass. I didn't understand that shit when I started rapping. I thought it was the goofiest thing I ever heard.
Because every man thought they were the hardest thing because you gotta come like full throttle, period.
I just didn't understand the competition and never. Back when I started, I didn't get it.
yeah. But like I don't know when this shift happened, but people started taking like the whole thing personal. I mean, it's not like and I mean people like didn't have no real beef, right? Like this is a different kind of situation, right? Like men grew up on the street, they had beef, or rap saved them, and the beef still carried on even though they rap. This is not what we're talking about.
No,
here,
we're talking about somebody's gonna be like reading your words or hearing what you say, feeling. Sometimes you'll post insecure. A Facebook status about person X, and then person Y feels the shoe fits, and now person. Or sometimes you choose not to name someone, but then they choose to name themselves, or things like that take place, and it's like, yo, we're not like the intention is usually never to like belittle other people, but some people just can't handle the fact that other people have contrary opinions, or the idea that you guys could come on and be like, nah, I think what he was trying to say is my product better than your product deep down in myself. No. I don't mean it like so direct, but
no, actually, to accurately translate what I was saying essentially is, and actually, and I can say that I can say this for about Richeous as well, is I know that I have worked really fucking hard on my penmanship, and I can say for a fact I've seen it with my own eyes that Richeous has worked really fucking hard on his pen game. So it's to the point where we know that behind closed doors, I know for sure I have put in mad work in terms of how to compose, and it's not just finding the craziest lyrics or the craziest metaphors. It's not just that. It's also, experimenting different flows and deliveries and trying to master those. And not only that, then when you do that, how can you freak it and remix it in a way that ultimately you feel becomes yours, like it becomes ingrained into what your DNA is. But I know that I've worked when I'm home or when I'm in the car, so I'll pull over sometimes or whatever. I'll listen to instrumentals, and like obviously, and I think this is common for the majority of rappers, yourself as well. I'm sure you have like hundreds of verses that you've never even recorded. You've just written down just because it's part of the.
Sometimes you be finding Word all of my shit's in Microsoft Word files, so I can see the dates on them all. And
same here.
Yo, this shit's like 2016. You open it up and it's like, damn, I wrote that verse 100 times in my life.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. Like, so I like me, like in my notes on my phone, I have some verses from from 2009, 2010 that I've never recorded. But even now, when I read them, it's two things. It's A, humble beginnings, but B, it's like, okay, I feel like even back then I felt like I had something, and I've been working on. Like,
I love that.
Obviously, today I wouldn't write the same verse. I feel like it would be way more polished, but nonetheless. Again, it's important that's when it becomes important to look in the rearview mirror to see where you came from. Because again, for me, this is like fuel for me to be like, you know what, perfect. Just keep working hard to really to try to take it to the next level. It's always to never be satisfied. I feel like, you know what, yeah, I did that, but guess what? I can still be better. Like this is the mantra.
I really appreciate that. And to be fair, I wasn't trying to like say that you definitely think you're better than others, but in the competitive sphere of it, if you have that level of confidence in your talent and ability, it's like you can go on any stage and know that it's going to deliver. Where I do think the game has changed is motherfuckers are way friendlier, believe it or not. Like it's less of a competition than it used to be. It used to be more of a like it's still a competition, right? Because we all want the same like slots, but it's also like we can just create our own slot collectively over there in a way where we benefit more by collaboration to work around the system than has ever really been the case in the past when there was simply the system. Like back in the day, there was that radio show you'd call in and freestyle on. There was the limited options that were available. Now I can just start my own concert series and have you guys come on that shit, and you guys could do the same for me, and vice versa. And anyway, like we can do this shit, and it's less about who's better and more about who's doper to like collectively.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because like a lot of artists, and this is one thing, and just to be clear, okay, what we're saying about take a back seat is that when we read our lyrics in the bathroom,
it's a good place to read the lyrics. Like what? The acoustics in your bathroom are insane.
No. We're saying that our shit gets us wet. We're saying that. Okay, no, just fucking around. I'm fucking around.
That's good.
No, but.
That's what happens when you pass 2 hours.
Look, but listen, it goes back to like the interview with there was an interview with Jill Scott, okay, and she had to go on after Erykah Badu at this specific show, right? And the interviewer came to Jill and he said, "Jill, how are you? how does it feel to? I mean, Erykah Badu, she had an amazing performance. How does it feel to follow up after that? And so I'll try to imitate her. She's like, and she starts laughing. And she's like, "What? It's nothing. Like, I'm going to go out there and do what Jill does. Like, there's no difference. Like, she's Erykah Badu. I can't never be Erykah Badu, but guess what? Erykah Badu can never be Jill.
That's a fact. And yo, like,
so she's fire and I'm fire.
Nobody's gonna be a FlipStar in this city but FlipStar. Nobody's gonna be a Richeous in this city but Richeous.
Exactly.
And it's partly like nobody's growing up in Barbados running to get water like that. So that create with a musical family and shit. That creates one breed of person. FlipStar is not playing with this flow game. If you ain't following this man on Instagram, everybody knows if I can have 60 seconds of your time. And then he just posts his fucking like, and when every genre of music at this point, every season it's a new theme that he runs it like clockwork. And every lyricist in the city gives this man his props, and that I can say because I see the comments. I don't really comment all the time, but like I'd be watching, and like you see every lyricist gives FlipStar his props. Everybody. I had people hitting me after the show like, where'd you find these guys? Like. And I was like, oh, say word. Yeah, no, they're dope. Like, and so like, but I love the fact that like it's that competitive, collaborative energy, right? Because it's fun to like, to a degree. Like, exactly. I want to be better. Like, I'm already going, how do I like take what I've seen from your live show and incorporate that into my shit, but to get better, not to take your place.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think we have enough crossover fans that I'd rather just do more shows with you.
But look, bro, it's as you were saying, right? Times have changed, right? There's so many opportunities for people to just be whatever they choose to in life, right? Us going on a stage and just giving our all is just encouragement to go give your all in the shit that you love, right? There's so much. It's just too much potential just being wasted in negativity and how people are thinking, and one person wanted to be better than the other person. For what? You already got a you to be the best fucking you.
The answer to that question is honestly opportunities, right? Like, let's call this, like, my event's a no stakes show. But what happens when it is the opening slot for a bigger person, or if there's bags involved in the future? That's when people start to really feel ways. Like, it's people don't care, I guess, these like a local shit to the same degree, because it is just us. But I've definitely seen attitudes switch when the stakes are different, right? Like, I don't know. Like, that's how I think some of the competition got bred back in the day. I mean, there were only going to be so many opportunities, right?
Well, look, bro, the first guy I ever, like, the first rapper I ever met when I moved here, and I don't, you guys don't know him, but shout out to Knowledge, aka J Knowles, aka H Queb. Right now it's H Queb, Haitian Quebecois. Yo, my guy is on a different level. Okay, he's like, imagine a hard dancehall artist in French who can rap, right? and they had their whole clique, man. Shout out to Knowledge, shout out to Ice Palace Beats, and Luick Beats, and these guys were all together. They were freestyling like before I even moved to Canada, right? And a couple of guys from their clique actually got deals and stuff. So it was like, he explained to me like how the whole thing went. There was like one guy, he actually got a deal, but he didn't tell anyone, and he kind of just like drifted off because he wanted to make sure that he got it. And then there was another deal. He was like, if I get in, that means all my men gotta get in. And we've heard that story before, and it doesn't actually work that way, because the label is only interested in the talent that they're interested in.
Facts. As much as Nelly wanted the St. Lunatics to pop, where the St. Lunatics today?
There you go.
No disrespect to Murphy Lee and them.
There you go. So like, I would just say, like, advice to all, like, I mean, if you have opportunity, like, you and your partners are growing in life, and you have an opportunity, and if it's your opportunity, it's your opportunity. But don't be afraid to tell your partner, especially the ones that you trust.
Yeah, that's a big facts.
Because
but I think that's where the things come is, right? So let's say we do this run, all of us now. A year from now, some of us are going to be in much better places than other of us, regardless of talent. It's not going to be it's going to be a question of politics, fiscals, and a bunch of other shit where then, sometimes we may get salty over missed opportunities and say the wrong thing. And I nearly had a thing where I shot myself in the foot by being an egotist and being mad I wasn't booked for something. But because I ended up performing anyway and shit, whatever, right? So, like, it's really easy as time goes on to have the ego thing really kick in. And now maybe the three of us are in a place where we are trying to not let that take over, but that isn't across the board.
Yeah, look. Just like how me and Flip are working together on this album, right? We're lifting each other up and sharing the shine, right? If it comes to the point that, let's say, FlipStar gets in some kind of an insane success that no one was expecting, but it was because of FlipStar's dedication.
FlipStar's expecting it.
Oh, okay. Edit that. Thanks. They don't have to know there's like a 10-second delay. But it's like, once you start to accomplish something based on your hard work, your schedule is automatically going to change. So you're not going to be able to hang with the same people. It's not disrespecting them, but in order to keep the thing that you're grateful for, that you fucking worked for, you have to keep a schedule in order to maintain that lifestyle. And it's worth it for you, or you wouldn't fucking got there in the first place. So it's like anyone else that's upset, they just don't understand. And it's
that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think it's only worth bringing it up because I don't think a lot of people have experienced that next level at all. Or the delays, right? Like sometimes you have an idea and you just have to wait on other people's schedules. Like when we interviewed Immortal Technique, that was an idea that was floating around for a long time, and then I found out are you available to come to New York now? Just out of nowhere. And thank God I was able to get that vacation day or whatever from work.
You fucking interviewed Immortal Technique, dog.
Yeah. My man, shout out my man Flaco Bayo / Dutch Vega. He's been a huge hookup in my life. Where like the truth is, this is how I know. Like sometimes in life, don't get me wrong. I worked really hard. I put out over 1,000 YouTube videos, no problem, since 2016. Most of them are not successful by anyone's metric, but because I did that, it attracted his attention. So we started up. Basically, it's this show, but with my man from New York, making it way more New York centric than I could ever do it, and then I'm like there as like the extra guy. No, it's all like it's a good dynamic, and so yeah, he's just connected to Poison Pen from Grind Time and all them. Poison Pen knows Immortal Technique like that, but even regardless of all of that, this actually came, if I'm telling the story accurately, and he's watching this, maybe whatever. He ran into Immortal Technique at a party thing and pitched it on his own strength and got it on his own strength and shit. And it's like, just because they know each other through that whole connection of Poison Pen and shit. And then I went down to Harlem at an undisclosed location at a place that Immortal Technique owns that was empty as fuck. And we did this interview, and it was crazy. Shit's at 27,000 views organic without any advertising, because it was right before, like, we put it out, and then the Kanye West Alex Jones things happen, and we talk about Alex Jones in the interview, because Immortal Technique protested with Alex Jones back in the 9/11 days. So I've changed that in the title. I mean, and then it stopped, but still, I don't have no content in my life except for that one interview that got the 27,000 fucking views by itself. And it's going to climb because people give a shit about Immortal Technique at like that level. But no, it's big blessings. Like, I'm going back to New York to film the next round. It's all in person now, so it's like way more expensive because travel and shit. But now we just do it in person because that interview did so well. And I think part of it is the in-person element. Like, people can see us in the room and shit. Plus, like, you never know who you're going to meet in New York. It's different.
No, in person will always be better. It's like you can find a million videos online that can explain why, right? But just to tie it back to like why me and Flip work so well, right? Okay, it's because we understand that all the things that we've been here talking about in people's thinking and in the community, how the community has been changing, and how we all the healthy competition on working together to bring out the best in one another and sharing the shine. It's all of these that make us work so well together, because I can write something and Flip can literally tell me, yo, I don't like that. And I'll be like, okay, what do you want? Don't you like about it? And he will explain. I would not feel threatened. It's regardless of whether it's something that I'm like, at this point we trust in like the power of us together to make something better so much that we can afford to let go of things, and at this point. And
yo, was it easy at first though? Cause like I do some music with some peoples, and when I'm not in my comfort zone, sometimes it could take a quick minute to get used to that kind of feedback and not take it as like negative criticism. Okay. So was it like something that just came natural, or was it like a journey to get to that point?
This guy's a hell of an interviewer. He's bringing on a confession. Okay, look, dude, I got something to confess, okay? I was holding in a lot of shit sometimes when we were writing, and I'm like, why the fuck is he going to write that? But then you would scrap it. So I didn't have any reason to talk about it in the first place, right? So it's like you were.
So you're like, before you had the chance to say anything in your mind,
right?
Flip would just get there on his own.
And it would happen so many times. I said, well, fuck it, I might as well just tell him, right? And then like he handled it like cool, and then like I'm like, okay, well then it's not only me that fucking is like that, because before when we did tracks, he would a verse would already be like, he'd write his verse, I write my verse, and we give it our all. That's what we got. Be going with that, all right. And then like maybe one or two little changes, but at this point we kind of got our egos all pumped up already. He's like, yes, this is my teacup and my tea, and this is my tea. So if you want to change the tea a little bit, okay, fine. But at least I got my tea with my teacup, and I'm going to be able to drink it. You know, that kind of ego shit. But I mean, subconsciously, that was probably what was going on. But like now. Like no, we can literally say I don't like that. I believe at this point I can say I don't like this entire verse. I've said it about my shit, and Flip has convinced me to that it is actually better than I think. And then I actually reanalyze it and change a couple parts, and it completely flips something. So I get, in general, when you're working with someone, you know, you got to give it time to develop a kind of synergy too.
That's a fact,
right? You can't just expect that like someone is going to be like you. You have to give them a chance, give it a chance for you to understand their process, so before you even go to critique any of their work. Because at the same time, you're going to get to do the same thing if you allow them to finish their process.
That's a fact. What you just said about the process thing, me and my man Richeous, no regard, have had one hell of a process learning how to work together. And if you feel me, it's even great. I like to put it like it was like entering a relationship, like dating a girl almost, but not exactly like that. But the personalities, understanding each other's boundaries, our creative processes are super different. Like everything about how we approach it is whatever. There were some heated moments, and then inevitably it's just like I had to learn, okay, if he's like this, I should probably understand where he's coming from and like find that empathy. He had to figure out how intricately. I'm a hard person to work with, I'll just be honest. You have to figure out how to work with me, and then like once you do, it's magic time every time.
But to add to that, it's not just that, right? It's also, again, if I'm to so you spoke about you can kind of like parallel this to like a new relationship, right? In the beginning, what is it, like the honeymoon phase, right?
Facts.
So in the beginning, for me and Richeous, I felt like it was blissful in the sense that we were both so excited about the prospect of a new project and what the ideas were, right? So in the beginning, when it came to us developing the concept of songs and so on and so forth, I felt that it was, I guess, a bit easier because we were both, although we had already worked together on several songs in the past, now it's kind of like, now it's a different environment altogether because now it's a full album, right? So in the beginning, I think it was, like I said, it was like peaches and cream and rainbows and suns, right? But eventually, that's when sometimes we could, I guess, artistically bump heads,
right,
at times, because again, he would maybe have like an idea or a vision for, what, bar 4 to 8. I was sort of envisioning you going boom, boom, boom. For instance, like for Hot Potato, there's a part where I say, when the part where we both rap fast, right? Nigga, never mind, I be in the vibe, give me another time, but Wi-Fi. Then I say, gotta hit the logic, then you fly, but you want to vibe on the highway, then it's bye-bye. But initially I rapped it differently, but he said, nah, he said, I think that you should instead employ this flow and so on and so forth. Although initially I kind of felt like the first flow that I had was like, nah, like I feel like this fits appropriately. He felt like again, and this is a question of him asking me to trust him with his vision in spite of what I had visualized in my brain, right? But again, and with all of these trials and errors, this is how we were we were in a position to, I guess, further hone the synergy that was being exchanged between Richeous and myself. And again, through practice and just us, we had Zoom calls, we had phone calls. I went to his crib, at the studio, in the car, so on and so forth. So we've had there have been so many times where he and I have had conversations, and again, these are all things that contributed to, again, the rapport that he and I have been able to build, and that's why we feel like we both that we're a perfect match in terms of what we can offer musically to the masses.
But it's even more than that, right? Like, I think what you're touching on is important shit. Like, me and my man Flacco decided that we're gonna upscale our brand. Like, we have something, we know we can grow it, but if we're gonna treat it seriously, we actually have to treat it seriously. So now we started scheduling weekly meetings that are not right before the show, which is just to, like, what is the work we gotta do, how's it going, how did your week go, like making that effort to like keep each other apprised of what's going on in life and to like maintain the relationships, because it's real easy in this hustle and bustle of building content to work with people and have no idea what's going on in their lives. Then all of a sudden some shit happens and you don't see it coming. When maybe if you were a better friend, and I'm a garbage friend to be honest, and like most like if you really like, I'm not the guy that's gonna holler at you to remember to check in. I'm not gonna it takes like a lot of focus for me to be like, oh yeah, I should ask questions about people's lives and shit. Like, it's just like I'm so focused on, I'll talk to you about marketing all day long and remember your whole marketing plan, but like shit, personal life shit is hard. But if you don't do that, you're not actually able to build the relationships that last. And it's like these little things where you create the life bonds that really create this lasting relationships that create that kind of synergy, because it's only time that can do that kind of thing. Because you have to see what a man's is like when he's pissy and when he's having a bad day and when shit's going wrong. What a guy's like when he's broke, when he's rich, all the vibes. Apparently I'm no fun when I'm like half a bottle of liquor deep. That's
It's true what you're saying, dude, because rest in peace to Dapper Don. He was one of the first producers that ever like contacted me just to see how I was doing, from Vancouver, by the way. Yeah, and I would like have something to do for him, and I would be kind of like, oh shit, I was supposed to do this, and like fuck, like, kind of avoiding him. And then it's like, okay, shit, I pick up the phone and like fucking first straight out the bat, I'm starting to talk about the project. He's like, yeah, but how are you, dude?
Yeah.
Like, are you okay? And then it's like, no, I'm not fucking okay. That's why I'm not working on the shit, right? And then he's like, okay. And then he actually like then he actually invests his time and helped me like calm down, because like I wasn't getting that a lot, like with the people that I was working with, right? We come together, we do a collab, we do this, we do that, you have some drinks, da 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 da, but there's no real interaction. It's like, you know, like you got gas money this week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like everyone's got like love lives and job lives and like, yo, I don't even think about family lives. It's not my go-to, but all you parents go right to the family lives, and it's like, it's real shit. And it's like, it took me a really long time to learn how to work with dads. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I got mad frustrated because we can't live the same. Like, we just can't. I can go to 5 shows a week. You probably can't. I could spend money in ways you probably can't. You might, like, it doesn't even matter who makes more. It's just, I probably just get to blow shit in ways and have certain lifestyle choices where it's more frivolous. Whereas as a parent, you've got that kid to think about. And it took me forever to really understand that, yo, dads just be on a different wave.
I just can't wait for you to talking about dads. I can't wait for you to listen to the song that we did called Father Nature.
Okay.
All right. And again, like I said, on this song, we get very personal. Yo, my man, he said a line that he knows how much I love this line. He said, either the world will walk on you or you traverse it. I love that line. I effing love. Actually, speaking of lines, there's another line of his that I really love. Ah, man. He says, I'm just a different element, one-minded government, be on the planet, still under development, take you to heaven and back down to hell again. So your position on this is irrelevant. That's him.
How the fuck you remember that shit? Like, yeah. I was like trying to keep up with your lyrics just now. They're mine. Oh shit. But back to what you were saying though, like, that's a unique perspective, dude, because like I don't get to have this conversation with anyone that doesn't have kids. And it's like, I remember, like, I'm understanding because I remember when I didn't have kids, right? Facts. So it's like, I never got into that argument. I never got into an argument of saying, you'll understand one day when you have kids, right? Because there are some men that have kids and they're complete like fucking basement.
You have to, like, understand that that's your priority.
It's a different mentality.
You can't commit time the same way.
Like, it's more of a responsibility, but it's like your first baby would be your own creation before you have a kid, right? So for example, like your podcast, right? You're streaming, your
art projects and shit.
The things that are important to you, right? That's your first baby, right? So you know for sure you have an obligation to that. So technically, going to 5 shows a week is you being responsible.
Absolutely.
You know
like, I know it sounds wild. I actually like feel like people sometimes like go, oh, boo-hoo, you have to go party all the time. I'm like, yo, it's not like it's fun. I miss sitting there playing fucking video games and shit. Like, sometimes I just want to stay home, but it's like, and then when you go out, you gotta smile and shit. I be like dancing at everything I go to as much as I can to try to turn up. Like, it's not just like, okay, it's work to me. Is it fun? Yes. It's just part of my job, though, because if you'll notice, everywhere I go, I'm wearing pickles now. This shit's for sale. BehindThatSuit.com/store. Y'all can cop that shit.
Merch.
But I be flipping shit now. Like, I sold 2 shirts that night. Thank you again. Richeous over here. I love that shit. And then I sold a hoodie the other day, and it's like, just by going out, though, more people follow me on Instagram because of the hoodies, to build that connection, where if you stay home, the internet is a weird place. It either works well or it's the fakest shit you're ever going to encounter. And I have come to really, like, and I do the internet professionally as my day job for a long time, and I know a lot of internet-y things, but you can get whatever views you get. That don't mean you can sell a fucking ticket in the city. So it's like, that real life shit is a grind that, like, after a year of effort, I've, seen dividends compared to not being out there.
Yeah, no, there's the networking, the real networking is in person. Yeah, but I just wanted to, I just wanted to say one last thing about the album for Black Clouds. From my, so again, this is just, I guess in a nutshell, Richeous and I have been working on this for about 2 years and 2 to 3 months, right? So we're looking at maybe 26, 27 months that we have been working on this for quite, for quite some time. And we did take a quick hiatus, but it wasn't, it was more of a forced hiatus because obviously we both had other financial obligations, family obligations that we had to tend to, so we had to put the album on pause for a minute. But once we went back into once we returned to the lab, we've been kicking it high gear ever since, especially now with the videos. Again, please, I'm asking everyone, go on YouTube, type in Mr. FlipStar Richeus, Richeus, or even if you can't remember how to spell your complicated ass name,
it's right there in the episode name for everybody watching this on every platform. You have no excuses.
There you go. But type in hot potato. I promise you, this video is very different. We both, he and I, take an extreme level of pride in knowing that when the majority will go right, we will make sure to take the left lane, because it is important. We have worked on our individual and collective talents too hard to just blend in. So again, the element of surprise that Holden was talking about, when in terms of the hot potato performance, that's what we seek, because again, we know that we have the talent and the skill to produce such a thing. And now we are,
and they can definitely say it's more than one city that they get the reaction in, because we was at that Toronto shit. And let me tell you something, that Toronto shit, it's a room full of rappers. So it's not, like, room full of rappers is weird. They either really are willing to listen or they're not. But we won them over. Like, that was the vibe.
We did.
And, like, but you guys, the special shit, man. This man, the next day, he stole that shit.
There you go.
Yeah, that
there you go. There you go. I like that. See, I like to hear that. I like to hear that my man is winning. I love
it really
that.
was, man. Richeous was like a fucking star in that room.
There you go. There you go. As he should be. As he should be. But all this to say, to conclude, because it's getting kind of late. God damn it. But yeah, no, it's again, we have the single for the album that is coming out really soon. I am working my tail off to make sure that it is ready for the beginning of May. It's a lot of work, but damn it, if I don't do it, who will? So I got to make sure that, like, I stay on top of it. But Richeous knows how much I take this seriously. Again, shout out to Wise Eyes and the Right Focus for their DNA is all over this project. Same thing with Shane. Shane, I appreciate you for coming in. Again, the single will not be your typical single that you get from, again, I will keep it strictly Montreal. For Montreal artists, this is not your typical single, especially in terms of presentation. This is an actual short movie with the song ingratiated in the product. They're
on their Kanye West twisted dark fantasy vibes.
Exactly, something like that, right? So, but again, we have worked really hard on this, blood, sweat, and tears. We have really made sure to invest all of your artistry with my artistry in there to, again, provide the best product possible. We feel that we are sitting on a gold mine, and again, call it cockiness or confidence or whatever you want to call it. We just know that it's authentic. We just know that it's real. And again, please stay on the lookout for Mr. FlipStar and Richeous, Black Clouds, Spring 2023.
Also, cop their merch, because I know they was wearing their merch the other day at the show, and it looks fire.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Well,
yes, sir.
You gotta have that ready.
Yes,
that
sir.
That merch was lit, like the colorful one. I was eyeballing that shit. I was like,
So more info to come. Just stay on the lookout. Again, For myself, if you type in rap Mr. FlipStar on Instagram.
Yo, listen, all the links are going to be in the description.
Follow
all the links. He said he spelled it out a few times. Y'all got it.
Perfect. So yes, and I will let Richeous conclude with his information, and I'm sure he'll have one quick thing or two to say about BC. Get it, my man.
Yeah. I'm just glad that I didn't have to spell my name like 5 times. Because like there's a whole thing.
Deadass nearly spelled it wrong today.
Oh, that's all right, dude. That's all right,
good.
Dude.
It's good.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Because there's a whole meaning behind it. That name was also given to me. But before I start going on a rant about that, yeah, honestly, Black Clothes is something that helped both of us evolve as rappers, as artists. Right, it made us to look into different aspects of what we were doing. Made us really see our work objectively. Right. It's made us look into. It sent us to look into how to become better directors.
Ooh, I like that.
Right. It's having me digging through the entire music industry system of how to market this to make sure every single income stream and all the registration is complete and done properly.
Ooh, I wish we would have talked that SoCan, not just SoCan, but Sound Exchange. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, but well, just to make it brief, right? Okay, if you're an artist and you have a song, okay, you should be getting 4 sets of different revenue. Okay, 4 sets. Okay, the 2 performance royalties and 2 mechanical royalties. Okay, 1 for when you perform your track live. Okay, that's SoCan when you're on stage. Okay, the other for when it's being played. Okay, that's ACTRA or RE Sound or
no, it's ACTRA. It's ACTRA.
ACTRA, right? RE Sound does it too because they have a contract with them and Artisty, another place, right? So that's when it's being played. That's considered a performance as well. Not only when you're performing it, right? And then there's Then
that would be like, let's say your song gets played by DJ Blaster at one of them Alliance games. That would be an example of what he's describing.
Exactly. And places like RE Sound, they actually make sure that people pay their registration fees so that you can get paid for performing their events or for playing their music, right? And then there's Music Connect Music Canada or Music Connect Canada. There's the other 2 slices of the pie, right? They handle like the right to copy your music, right? They help with collecting royalties based on the fact, you go to you get distribution through DistroKid or something. They're the one that makes sure that you get your money, okay, because your things has been digitally distributed. And then there's another company called CMMRA that Lord help me, I'm still trying to figure their shit out, and I'm hiring a music industry lawyer to just make sure that we look over everything and get everything right. But you should be getting 4 streams of income for your stuff. So like everywhere you put your we've been working our ass off. Yeah, this has been making us take our lives.
Because we're in an era where the AI bots, as an example, Sony Orchard's thing, can track everything, and all it takes is for somebody to grab your shit and put it in a video in another country on another platform that you're unaware of, and you missing out on $1,000 by accident because you didn't know about it. And it's like that shit happens. It did not happen to me. I was sorely disappointed. But it happens to other people. Yo, I signed up for everything and they're like, fuck you got no royalties. And I'm like, damn, not even like nobody, nowhere? And I was like, fair enough.
But look, try just make sure you got your shit set up. Like it's your music is a business,
I do. I agree with you. That's why I was like, this is some good shit at the end. Because like, yo, shout out David Hodges, but he like put me on to like all of the other companies, and I'm like, what? There's more than SoCan?
Yeah, dude. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, what?
And even then, people be like, not on the SoCan shit, but it's like, there's more than SoCan. Okay. Which we could go on about at length, which another day maybe, because I see you eyeball on the clock and shit. Don't get me wrong. It does get late.
Yeah, but just saying that to say that, like, this partnership, this growth has just made us take everything to the next level, and the appreciation is undescribable.
I like that a lot. And that's the type of shit where I hope people can see this and be like, yo, it makes sense to work with people, because a lot of people be trying to solo it, but deadass, my whole everything, like, yo, Chris Chrome has been behind me for the entirety of my YouTube run. There is not a day that has gone by that he hasn't been. He was in the first podcast ever episode. He has put up with an enormous amount of my shit because he's like 7 years younger, so what the fuck's he really gonna say? You know how that goes sometimes. He edits all the shit, but he like a real partner in this. Like, yo, we took that L the other night fiscally, so it's like, it's dope. Like, having somebody that you could work with on that shit that like is at a deeper level, and like the more people you can get at that level, the stronger. That's the team everyone's supposed to be looking for, you know?
Exactly.
And you need people like that, because literally you can't do it alone, because you're gonna have off weeks, and that's when next man has to step up and drive the shit for a minute.
Yo, there's no one that's ever done it alone. That's the thing about it. We see the millionaires, we see the celebrities, we see all of these people, but it's like they didn't climb that mountain themselves.
Facts.
They have even at the point where they're at this, they need help.
Yeah, like even the CEO has a board of directors watching them, and then the board of directors is watched by the stockholders, and then like there's always oversight on something or another, and like, so it's just the way it works. But yeah,
exactly. And just in closing my piece, no, actually, you know what? I'm not going to say that. We've said it enough, right? Yeah, just
follow them.
Just follow our shit, and look us up. Like help me be as consistent as my guy here, right?
If y'all show up in his comments and make that noise, and you let him know that you want it, how's he gonna say no? Look at that smile.
No? Oh shit, dude, this fucking guy. He's like, do you owe me? Wait. Let me check my merch.
And last but not least, again, I just want to give an extra special shout out to Royalty and Serenity for they are the only two features on the album, but they both brought like a specific element to what we were looking for, and both of them did exactly what we wanted them to do in terms of delivery, like in terms of what they were going to deliver. And on both occasions, we were taken aback. We were very, 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 very satisfied. And we want to thank y'all, the two of y'all, for being part of this BC journey, because again, it's a special journey.
Yeah, I appreciate both of you for coming through and like sharing all that. Like, honestly, I wasn't sure how this was going to go, because I've never done this with two people at once in a room. And then the mic conundrum of this was what we were rolling with, was the one mic handoff, the hot potato mic. You can think about it like that.
Look at that full circle, baby.
And, but yo, this is crazy. It's 2 hours, 40 minutes. Like, I know that we could go longer. Obviously, time constraints can be real.
But hold up, big up Holden though. Still though, yes, we big up everybody else. Even big up my man Holden here for making shit so all possible, bro. This is an amazing interview, bro. Thank you.
And you spoke about MCO being a loyal supporter, like a solid dude. Yeah, I put you in the same category. You showed me love from day one, ever since you and I met at HHK. You've showed me love. Again, you had me on your live stream before for my previous album. You took the time to listen and digest and analyze the album. Like, to me, like, as an artist, and as an artist, like for someone to take that time, it's not all, not everyone does that. So for me, I'm very, very appreciative of you doing that. And again, even just you inviting Richeous and myself to come here, especially knowing that we have a project that's coming out. So, like it's again, these are not things that I take for granted. So I really just wanna, honestly, I thank you, man. You're a solid dude.
I definitely try to live up to it, as I know I'm gonna make a train wreck at other moments. So the best you can do is add value to people's lives. Like at the very least, if I can provide a service, like this whole thing started because no one interviewed me, right? Like still no one's really interviewing me, but that's not the point. But like, and so it's like, even the blogging, it's like, who's writing about this shit? I don't see nobody in English writing about what we do. So if you're a writer, broski, I can't do it all alone. So it's like we need more media, and it became this life-changing journey. Like I learned so much shit talking to people of every level of success you can think of, up to Immortal Technique, because he's the most famous guy so far. But if you're talking like other kinds of lanes, I've talked to some super interesting people. So for me, it's just blessings, and I just came to really like love it. And I guess I cracked some formula. Apparently, if you talk about childhood, people warm up faster. I don't know. But like really, I'm looking at it like, what's your wiki page like? I want to know what's on your wiki page. I'm like, that's all I ever used to do, is read people's wiki pages back in the day when I worked at a call center. So it's like, let's fill that shit out. Somebody got to start documenting this shit. We all careers, decade longs, and people don't know nothing about us. So this is my effort to bridge the gap of all that shit. But anyway, thank y'all for real though, because like y'all are like entertaining and engaging people, and you came through and entertained the crowd. Honestly, it made me look cool to have everybody sharing shit after. It's not lost on me. So doubly thank you for that.
Respect,
This is the
bro.
first time I've done that, where like y'all were at an event I threw and then interviewed right after. Like that was serendipitous. Like I did not plan that, right? And so it was really cool to see all that and share everything. And for those coming in, thank y'all for watching too, because currently we're at 8 people. I've been watching that go up and down, but there's a good like 6 of you that stuck around for like a couple of hours, dead ass, and like that just means the world to me too. Because like when I see people watching, they end up being longer somehow. If this is 2 people and I know it's just like me and Bonnie, it's like it's harder to stay as enthused. So thank y'all for came through and like making that chat box move a little bit. And also y'all in the future watching this, you're appreciated too. Don't even get me wrong. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow these boys over here. The music's great. The music videos are gonna, just follow. You heard everything before. And patreon.com/behindthatsuit if you want to throw some fiscal love our way. I know the reward system's weird. I haven't updated it for the interview life. It's the album review life. But if you want cheap album reviews, technically you can do it like that. Anyhow, thank y'all again. It's been super lovely. Appreciate y'all again, and live long and prosper, everybody.
Salute.
All right, now before you